and welcome to episode 7 of the Holocron-Cast. I am your host, the Jedi Holocron, Tyler. Alongside me today, as always, the local Sith Holocron, Dan. How you doing today, Dan?
I am the Dan Awakens.
You have awoken, but
I have awoken.
You literally just told me you're really tired.
I am pretty tired.
So you awakened just for this podcast. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Gotta be high energy.
Of course.
That's probably why I'm tired. We've been recording a lot these last couple days.
Yes. Just wait. If this ever gets real, we'll be doing a lot more than this.
Well, I just mean I'm not used to it.
Yeah, I feel it.
It'll get less draining as we get less worried about it, you know?
Yes. Today, we'll be talking about the hit film, Solo.
Definitely wasn't a flop in the box office.
A Star Wars story. No, not at all. It didn't flop at all. It was pretty good, you know? Yeah, there's a lot to talk about this film. Besides what happens, there's a lot to discuss.
Yeah.
So, as always, let's get right into it. We're going to first start off our first experience seeing this movie. Obviously, we saw it together.
Yes. This is the most recent Star Wars film.
This is the third Star Wars film we saw together.
Yes.
And this is the most recent Star Wars film. It came out May... Fuck, I should have the date ready. It came out May something 2018.
2018.
Yes.
A mere couple months after The Last Jedi.
6 months after The Last Jedi, which was like 5 months, really.
Yeah.
5-ish, 6-ish. Yeah, interesting. This is around the time where they were really trying to push the idea of 2 Star Wars films a year. What are your thoughts on 2 Star Wars films a year? Before this and then after this movie.
See, the thing is that while I wouldn't be against 2 Star Wars films a year, I'm okay with it not being 2 a year.
Yeah. Are you okay with it being 1 every 3 years now? Or one when our next one's not for 3 years after Rise of Skywalker, and then we get a year gap in between, so every 2 years?
I like having the 3-year break for sure. Just as a little bit of decompression time. I mean, it's not like the series is going anywhere. We'll have TV shows, comics, books, you know.
Some may say this is the movie why that's happening. Probably. Yeah, this was the first movie where they're like, you could tell they wanted to try to push 2 a year, or maybe they were just, because then Rise of Skywalker would have came out in May the next year, and then maybe they would have got them going.
Yeah. Potentially.
I like the idea of 2 movies a year, personally. I'm not mad that it's not 2 a year, but I want 1 a year every year for the rest of my life.
The problem with that is that eventually they'll take a hit in quality.
I don't think so.
When you keep trying to crank them out.
I don't think they're trying to crank them out. Marvel does it spectacularly, though.
Marvel does it well, but that's also... I feel a bit...
a once-in-a-generation achievement that will probably never be achieved again in film history?
Probably.
I agree. Because the MCU is an impressive feat, just in general. To have that cohesive of a story coming through 23 movies and having all of them making money.
Yeah.
The problem with Star Wars is they need to make a certain... It's such on a pedestal with fans and people in like the industry and like people putting money into the movie that they expect every movie to make $1 billion, if not 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a tricky slope, but...
Because my worry is that it would eventually lead to a decline in quality. I'm not saying it would be like, you know, on the second year it would be like, oh man, that was a big hit, or anything like that.
I think the thing that helps, though, for me personally, is Disney+. Because I think we might get smaller Disney Plus movies that don't need to be big budget and you could tell a smaller story with. That's not lightsabers and intense action, but just like a story about like a character, their journey, their world, their experiences, and post-Empire, pre-Empire, in the transitions.
I feel like that's what this should have been.
Yes.
Personally.
Yes.
And instead of it being through it, like, it would be more of like focused just entirely on the underworld, not necessarily all about Han, but obviously he would be a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
but just, about more of just the underworld than anything else.
For sure. Yeah. But yeah, 2 movies a year they were really trying to get here. Clearly, it backfired, but we'll get more of that later. But yeah, first experience was watching the movie. We saw it Thursday. The Thursday it came out. November. May, whatever. I don't remember the date exactly, but yeah. Did you like it the first time you saw it?
I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was... you and I are both big fans of the Disney Star Wars movies.
Yes.
This is easily the weakest of them.
Yes.
And so that was maybe a tad bit disappointing, but considering that how a lot of people expected it to be going in with the plethora of problems going on, I think it turned out quite well for all things considered.
Oh, for sure. A lot of changes were happening. Yeah, so first experience was watching the movie. We saw it. We both enjoyed it. We both agreed right at the start that was probably the worst new one, but we had fun.
Yeah, it was...
Star Wars. Now, a year and a half later, rewatching it, getting ready for the Rise of Skywalker. What are your thoughts on the film, Dan? We just rewatched it. Tell me what you think.
My thoughts mostly lie in about the same area as they did the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fine movie. It does its job. It's more Star Wars. I don't think there's any new characters that I dislike or anything. There's not really anything to dislike. It's just nothing was particularly wowing.
I wasn't such a big fan of Lady Proxima myself, but okay, I understand. She's a cool new character.
Actual characters.
She's a character.
You know what I mean?
I feel you. But
How did you feel rewatching this again? For me, this was the first time I've rewatched it. For you, this is the third time you've seen it.
Yes, this is my third experience watching Solo. Going into this, I remember liking the film. I still do like the film. I'm even a component of making a sequel to this film or exploring more spin-offs of this film. But after watching it, I enjoy it. It's good. The first hour is tough to get through. It's kind of slow. I was kind of on my phone a lot during that point when we were watching. I was kind of bored. But it really begins to pick up towards the end and once the train sequence stuff and you see more characters stuff. I just really like you said, the new characters. I love Qi'ra. I love L3. I love seeing Lando more. My biggest problem with this movie is that it's about Han Solo. I don't care about seeing him, how he did. It was cool to see the Kessel Run. It was cool to see him get his gun. But, at the end of the day, he's the part of the movie I least cared about. But he was fine in the movie. I enjoyed him being part of the story, but I didn't like the story being completely about him.
Yeah, I was kind of always hoping it would be more of Han is sort of the vessel. It's not necessarily about him. It would just be we experience how the nitty gritty of the underworld with him as the one learning of it.
Yeah, him being our eye to this world.
That's what I would like if they were to do say a Disney Plus continuation. Have it more akin to that than about his story, personally.
I hope if they do a Disney Plus continuation, they just focus on everything else from this movie, except Solo. I want to learn more about Han's adventures with L3 before this.
Lando's adventures?
Yes, Lando's adventures. I'll learn more about Crimson Dawn. I want to learn more about how Qi'ra came up with Crimson Dawn. I want to know what happens with Qi'ra.
Qi'ra didn't come up with Crimson Dawn.
Yes, she did. After Corellia, they...
Oh, you mean how she joined them?
How she joined and how she...
I thought you meant how she created them.
Oh, no. I don't really care how it was created, honestly.
That's what I thought you said. That's why I was confused.
Dryden, learn more about him as a character, because I feel like he's underexplored in this movie.
Yeah.
He's just a bad guy for being a bad guy. But the more interesting part is who becomes the leader of Crimson Dawn, and I want to see more of what happens with that and Qi'ra and their relationship and what that could mean for the future.
Plus, to be fair, we actually have kind of seen where Crimson Dawn comes from. It's essentially the remnants of Maul's little syndicate empire he was building in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
That Sidious and the Republic basically destroyed.
Yeah.
At least that's what I can assume.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably in a comic somewhere.
Yeah. What else do you think about this film, Dan? Any other big thoughts that you want to throw out there? Things you loved or you just couldn't stand?
Well, there is one thing both of us really didn't like.
We'll get to
that later. But I would say a big thing that I did like was a lot of the the connective stuff, all the references to all this, like, other material, all this peripheral material.
Yeah.
They from
a lot of tie-ins.
Yeah.
That would probably confuse regular fans, especially one tie-in. It's super confusing if you're not in it. You're not reading the comics, watching the shows, the books.
Like, I like how they mentioned Scarif just as a back, random thing. They mentioned Aura Singh. They bring up Bosk at some point.
I don't remember that, no.
You were on your phone.
I was on my phone. Yeah. Not surprised.
It was right before the train sequence.
Okay. Yeah.
They were sitting around.
Oh, yeah, the campfire. I remember. But yeah, fun movie. I want more of this world and what they started to build. Like, I feel like I said, the story is just Han. I don't need Han. Recasting Han was probably not a good idea. I think Alden did well as Han. I think he made it his own. I don't think it was anywhere close. I don't hate it, but I don't think it was Han. But I
think it was unnecessary.
What, Han?
To
reuse Han.
Yeah.
I just think I think just Disney feels that they need to do that, which isn't true.
Yeah.
Because clearly, box office wise, it didn't help.
No, and a lot of people were very skeptical of it, recasting, because recasting is always a tricky situation.
Yeah.
I get, for origin stories, you don't really have many other choices for an established character.
Yeah, especially movies that took place in the 70s.
Yeah. I feel like they could have done maybe the Han angle through, like, a comic or something, or a book, or animated, or...
Animated is always the best option for bringing back these old characters, I think.
Yeah, and just get a sound alike.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is a kind of a problem. I think he did his best.
Yeah, as I said, what do you think of him as Han?
It's hard to judge. Like, obviously, it doesn't compare.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think he did his best.
Yeah. I think he did okay picking up some of the mannerisms.
He did get some of the mannerisms down.
But he also made it his own, which I don't want him to try to be a clone of him either if you're going to recast him.
Yeah.
So, I don't blame him for anything. I think he did a fine job. I just wish they wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. I feel like it could have very easily been... Or even from a different angle, if it was, say... I don't know how they would have done it, but if it was kind of the same story, but more from someone else's perspective, and Han himself just isn't really in it.
Mm-hmm.
If it was just like, I don't know what they would call it, but if it was like Qi'ra's story, and it's like her going through Crimson Dawn, and then she hears about Han or something.
Yeah.
You don't have to like see him or anything, but you still get the backstory tidbits.
Mm-hmm. But I do like his relationship with Qi'ra a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
I like how. I feel like he's very optimistic in this movie.
Yes,
and I
definitely.
feel like because of what happens, his relationship with her, we'll go more into detail of some of the stuff that happens later. But I think he's the way he is because of her, which I like. Because he's very optimistic. He's very I can do this. He's kind of wanting to be part of things. He's I want to be part of Beckett's crew. I'm not just trying to run away from everything. And then what happens by the end of the movie, he just probably burns him. He got burned by his mentor and Qi'ra.
Yeah. And also solidifies his friendship with Chewie by the end.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the only one left.
Okay. Anything else? Any other thoughts you want to get through before we go through our next couple sections?
Nothing that comes to mind.
Okay. So we're going to talk about a lot of controversy. We already tried to pretty much kind of talk about the recasting, but one of the big things, this movie failed at the box office pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think it's the first Star Wars movie not to make $1 billion. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't do fact checking before this, but I know it was a colossal failure.
Wait, did the Clone Wars movie make more than $1 billion?
No.
Then there you go.
No one, yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, no one counts that bullshit, But between coming out 6 months after The Last Jedi, which is probably the most controversial Star Wars film to this point.
Easily.
And coming out 3 weeks after Avengers Infinity War and a week after Deadpool 2.
Also not advertising the film really at all.
Oh yeah, the first trailer did not come out to the Super Bowl, which was 3 months before the film.
And
they weren't allowed to put toys on shelves in like Targets and Walmarts because they had to put Avengers toys out.
Yeah.
Because Disney owned them. It was just a bad...
Disney really shot themselves in the foot with the timing on this.
Between the movie not being as high quality as people wanted it to be.
The fact that not too many people really wanted a Han Solo origin story.
And also the fact that it just came out in a very crowded time after the most controversial time in Star Wars fandom. It just didn't succeed, which I think is a shame because I think there's like a lot of good ideas here.
Yes.
Except the Han idea. I don't care. But like, that's why I really hope we get a Disney Plus show about the Crimson Dawn, about Qi'ra, about Memphis Ness is the most fascinating character than Qi'ra for me to come out of this show. I mean, movie.
I do agree. I think there are a lot of interesting concepts, and it's kind of a shame, but maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Because I feel like a lot of these storylines work better as Disney Plus shows or little specials anyway.
Yeah.
You know, if they're...
I think the Crimson Dawn could be a great TV show.
Absolutely.
Give me 5 seasons of Qi'ra rising up through the ranks of the
Crimson Dawn to get to Maul.
And then halfway through season 5 of the final episode, be like, it's like, watch Solo, and then the rest is after Solo.
Oh my god.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, and then, because that wouldn't work as a movie. I don't think. It'd
It'd work, but I don't think it'd be as good.
It would be kind of hard with pacing, I think.
Yeah.
They can pace things a lot differently, and then, of course, they don't all need to be huge budget ones either, because then you get situations like this where, not as many people are excited for it.
I think there's a reason that the budget was so huge. It might have been because they had to do 6 months reshoots, was they fired their directors halfway through the film. Another thing to pile on top of all the stuff going on with this movie, it was maybe a year before the film was about to come out. They had already been shooting for a while. I think they were almost done shooting, honestly. And they fired Lord and Miller. Because this movie was originally supposed to be directed by Lord and Miller, known for 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street. They were a big part of Into the Spider-Verse. And, yeah, they're just comedy guys.
Yeah.
They're very well-known directors, very good. And clearly the old style of Kathleen Kennedy and Lawrence Kasdan, and they just were clashing heads.
They went off script a lot.
That's what they said. They went off script a lot. And then which is not what you want to do with a character like Han Solo. Yeah. Because he's wearing a certain way. And then it put Alden Ehrenreich in a tough position because he's being told to do one thing by Lawrence Kasdan and being told a different thing to do by his directors. And he started to doubt himself. They had to bring in an acting coach for him. It was a mess.
Yeah. Definitely a mess. And of course, everybody else, on the outside world, hearing about all this drama on top of all that, everything else, dogpiling on.
Yeah. Then they brought in Ron Howard, who was one of George Lucas's buddies. He was part of Spielberg. He's they're all friends. They worked on maybe American Graffiti together or one of those movies. Indiana Jones. I don't fucking know.
Some old movie.
Spielberg's Indiana Jones. Maybe American Graffiti. He's part of those.
He's part of those boys.
He's part of those boys' crew, They roll deep, And he came in.
And got along.
And just did the script, Wasn't going off script too much. And then I know for a fact the only scene that was untouched from Lord and Miller's cut was the cage match. Not the cage match. I call it cage match. The Han and Chewie pit scene. Which is interesting. Which is one of the better scenes in the movie.
Yes.
Which makes me wonder, what do you think their cut was like? Do you think their cut's better? Do you think their cut... Would you want to see their cut?
I mean, no matter what, I would definitely want to see it.
Yeah.
One way or another, I want to see it. But as to whether or not it would be better...
It'd definitely be not as safe.
It would definitely be not as safe, and that's, coming right off of... coming right off of The Last Jedi, the most controversial movie. Mm-hmm. I know they...
I think they got fired before.
I was going to say, I'm sure they got fired before that, but, I think it might have actually... I don't know, it's hard to say. Because on the other hand, maybe you don't want it going too far into comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I feel like they tried to do some comedy in this movie that didn't work with him, but
but not.
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't anything like.
But honestly, I would have really loved to see their movie, and I think it could have been better. I just don't think Disney wanted to take the risk with such an important character. And,
that's the thing.
Yeah, because he's not important to me. I like Han Solo, but growing up with the prequels, Han Solo, I like him, but I really don't care.
Yeah.
I'm more I enjoy Han Solo. I think he's a good character. I think he's funny. I like his relationship with Leia, but I don't like.
He's not on the pedestal.
He's not someone who I crave to see more of. That's why I think it'd be cool to see their take on it. It's hard, like I said, it's kind of hard to say if it could be better or worse because it could be better. It could be worse. We never know. I mean, it's just fascinating the idea, a more comedy, improv-driven Solo movie, especially considering their history of work
is
pretty pristine. So
the other thing is that looking at the fandom as a whole, I think it would have been received a lot worse. Because, like you said, Han is an important character in the fandom as a whole. So, whereas for you personally, it would maybe be probably better, or possibly better.
Yeah, I'm more interested because of that reason.
For me, it would maybe be a bit better, because I was, again, a prequel kid just like you, so it's not as earth-shattering. But for a lot of the older-time fans who are, let's be honest, a little quick to be angry, would maybe be a lot worse for.
Yeah. It's interesting, too, because I remember when this movie was coming out, I think part of the reason, too, they did Solo was to appeal to non-Star Wars, non-hardcore Star Wars fans who just like seeing the movies. Because I remember an old dude I worked with who hadn't seen any of the new ones, really. He's like, oh, I hear they're coming out with a Solo one. I think I'm going to go see that one. It's an interest... I get why they did it, but I don't think they needed to do it. It's always that weird thing, when you're... we're part of the Star Wars community. We're on the internet. We talk about Star Wars. We love Star Wars. We're minute people who actually are really in it and really care. Because I've noticed this with internet communities and internet culture and pop culture, the culture we're into, video games, TV, movies. We're in a bubble. Most people don't see the things we do or care about the things we do. They're just a new Star Wars. Let's go and see it. And when that fails with Han Solo, it's probably not something they're going to revisit anytime soon, which is probably why we have the situation
big
we
gaps.
have now. Which I think Disney Plus kind of saves us all, though. If Disney Plus doesn't exist and we're not getting another Star Wars movie till 2022, I'm heartbroken.
Yeah, that would be quite a gap without anything to have, because I'm sure they're going to pile them on.
Oh, for sure.
We're gonna have a lot.
Yeah, but there's always that rumor of the Mos Eisley spaceport movie they were filming. There's deep rumors. I don't know how true it is or not, but they were filming a movie about the Mos Eisley spaceport before Solo happened, and then it happened. The box office got bad, and they just scrapped it. They scrapped all spin-off movies.
Yeah, because they were working on a couple, weren't they?
Yeah, Obi-Wan possibly
potentially
before it became a Plus show.
Which, again, I think actually is better.
Yes. That's why it's okay that everything's happening the way it did.
That's why I feel like I said, I feel like this might actually have been a blessing.
Blessing in disguise?
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't want them to be afraid to take risks with smaller movies in theaters, and try different kinds of movies.
Yeah, but there's also nothing wrong with just getting out some shows, some smaller scale stuff.
Yes. Do you believe Star Wars is something that needs to be seen in the theater?
No.
No.
What do you... Describe what you mean.
Do you want Star Wars to be a big theater experience every time you see it? Even in, a big, epic 2.5 hour space battles and lightsaber fights for hours? Or would you mind seeing, smaller, lower budget movies in the theaters just to have more Star Wars? Or would you rather those just stay to Disney Plus and the movies be, big budget, pop your face in epics, space operas?
I feel like for the smaller ones, I feel like it'd be better to keep them on Disney Plus.
Because lower expectations?
Lower expectations. You know what you're getting into immediately. And then when it's in the theaters, all right, this is a big deal.
Yeah. That's fair.
When it gets in there.
Yeah. I just want Star Wars content however I can get it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't have much of an opinion either way.
Oh, yeah.
I
wouldn't be against them being in theaters.
I like them. I like the way they're going, though. I feel like it's a good
balance.
Good balance for now to maybe them refine their footing, start planning things better, get Dave Filoni more involved in everything.
Yeah. They definitely need a bit more planning.
But yeah, I think that's enough with the controversy.
Yeah, it was a bit of a perfect storm, one might say, to make
a perfect storm.
To make a not great at the box office.
Okay.
Film. Cinema.
Cinema. What's your favorite movie from the cinema?
I like BVS.
Batman vs Superman. My favorite piece of cinema would probably be
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I was just going to steal a joke, but I'm not going to steal the joke. Probably
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl.
That's a good one.
I actually thoroughly enjoyed that movie.
I've never seen it.
Not surprising. But yeah, cinema. So, last podcast, we're like, we don't know how you guys like us doing this plot thing. So we're like, we're going to talk less about the plot and just talk about stuff in the movie. I don't think that really happened. I think we talked more about the plot than ever.
Because I just wouldn't shut up about it.
Which is fine.
That's my B.
But I came up with a new idea that's more conversational and less going through the plot. Let's see how it goes. That might result in a shorter episode maybe, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
That's also not a bad thing if it's a little bit shorter.
Yeah. So, the way we measured it out, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... pretty much sections of this movie. And they all seem to be like in one place and they seem to go well together. So we're going to talk about each section, what we liked from that section, what we didn't, discuss what happens a little, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
And if you like this format better than the previous one, let us know. If you didn't, let us know.
And if you don't want to stop, I don't know what I was going to say.
If you don't care either way, also let us know.
Yeah, just let us know.
I want to know if someone's out there. I made this joke last time, but...
Is somebody out there? I don't hear anyone, Dan.
I don't mean either.
Okay. Corellia. The first... I'm not going to say act, that's too big. The first part of the film. We get...
Quarter portion.
First quarter portion. Corellia. Dan, what do you like and don't like about Corellia? What sticks out to you about Corellia?
Well, I am, for one thing, I am very glad to finally see Corellia on the big screen.
Cool. That's really cool.
Corellia has been mentioned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The Falcon is a Corellian YT-1300. So that automatically, I like that. And I do like that it is very slummy, because it is a shipyard planet.
Yeah.
I like the slums... You know, all the orphans running around.
Yeah, Han and Qi'ra kind of seem like slaves, but they're not. You know what I mean?
They also seem quite a bit older than most of the other people there.
They seem like they're the old ones who are trying to just haven't got out yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everyone else has escaped.
Yes, everyone else has escaped.
Lady Proxima.
But they're still stuck there. Yeah, I like the opening. We get a Lady Proxima. What do you think about Lady Proxima? Is she cool? Is she fine? I like that we always have to have an alien, but like a weird sea creature.
I do agree. I do like always having an alien. This one's design is a little strange.
Can't see the sun.
It
gets fucked by the sun.
A little weird, but you know, I can fuck with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything against it. It had kind of a weird voice, but I think that's what they were going for.
Mm-hmm. He has a rock that he thinks this is a thermal detonator.
Well, he doesn't think
he doesn't think it, but that's one of my favorite bits of this part, because that's a very Han thing to do. I feel like that's a very good thing that they did to keep Han in character. Was like
the overconfidence
with a rock
and just bullshitting them.
But he actually kind of had a plan.
Yeah.
Because as an audience, we're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? We didn't know rocks were gonna the sunlight would fuck them. The alien race.
He's like, this is a thermal detonator. And everybody else gasps, and Lady Proxima was just, that's a goddamn rock.
It's a rock, what are you doing?
Yeah, we had no idea they got fucked by the sun, but Han knew. So it does keep that kind of the wit.
The wit, yeah.
But the still got kind of comedic wit.
Yeah.
So I liked that. And then, they run away in a jacked speeder.
Yeah.
They hot-wired.
We get a chase scene.
Bit of a chase scene. We do get to see his cool Stormtrooper variant.
Stormtrooper, what are you talking about?
The like rent-a-cop one that was on the bike.
Oh, yeah.
That looked, what did they call it? You have a Funko Pop for it. Recon Trooper?
Patrol Trooper?
Patrol Trooper, that's the one.
Oh, okay, yeah. I like
Yeah, he's on the bike. I like the design.
Troopers?
That's the one thing. The trooper designs in this movie are...
brilliant.
Phenomenal.
What do you think of the chase? You like the chase scene?
The chase scene's fine.
Do you like that they get stuck in the end?
Yes, actually.
You like that?
I think that's a pretty funny... Like, you know, because he's really overconfident as he is, because he's Han, and since he's young and inexperienced, it's good to see it not work every time.
Mm-hmm. I'm indifferent on it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think it works real well the first time you see it, but after a few times, it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Dan, but do you know what the most important thing about Corellia is?
What?
Which is introducing Corellia, which is a big theme in this film. The dice, Dan. The dice are important.
I knew you were going to say it.
Dan, what do you think about the dice? As we see the dice for the first time. They're hanging on the thing. They're like...
on the speeder.
He puts them on when he gets in. What do you think about the dice?
The really close-up shot, and then when they're getting off, you get the really close-up shot of him taking them off.
Dice are important, Dan.
It's cool, I guess, because the dice are in the original trilogy. Like, it's a cool...
Are they? I don't... Yeah, they probably
They're hanging on the Falcon's cockpit. They're different dice, because they were actually just regular dice that happened to be gold, so they wanted them to be more Star Wars-y.
Which I like.
Yeah, that's just a minor design difference.
They just wanted you to know that the dice in The Last Jedi meant something.
That is the only reason.
I don't mind them doing... I feel like they kind of maybe... hit us over the head a little too hard with the dice in this movie. We get it. We have like at least 5 close-up shots of the dice.
Yeah. It was a little much, after a couple times. But who knows? Maybe they're more important than we know.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
Maybe they are. Maybe I'm sure we'll see them again.
Maybe they're what redeems Ben.
Oh shit! He saw them, but they disappeared.
He did see them, but they disappeared.
What were your initial impressions of Qi'ra?
Mostly indifference.
Indifference? We don't get much of her here.
Yeah, there really isn't much to go off of with her here. She just seemed like Han's girlfriend.
Yeah.
And being me, who knows nothing about actors or actresses or anything, I was just like, okay, so maybe we'll never see her again.
And this was in a pre-world where you hadn't seen Game of Thrones before.
I probably still wouldn't have recognized her because of the different hair.
Yeah. For me, this was a big deal.
Like, I don't know which actors are big and which ones aren't, so when a character goes off screen, for me, it's always like, But I'm sure, for everyone else, it's like...
cool.
I'm sure for everyone else, it's like, oh, well, this is a bigger name person, so they're obviously going to be more involved.
Like, my queen is in a Star Wars movie. I don't want it.
I don't want it!
Dan, I don't know if you know this about me. Big Game of Thrones fan.
Yes.
I don't know if you know this about me either. Big Daenerys Targaryen fan.
Are you?
Maybe a little. Also, I don't know if you know this about me. Big Emilia Clarke fan. What do those 3 have in common? They're the same thing. Game of Thrones, Emilia Clarke, Daenerys Targaryen.
And
now she's in my favorite franchise of all time. Star Wars. So, me, initial impressions, I'm excited. Like, my girl's here, one of my favorite actresses, and I'm like, hell yeah. She seems to have good chemistry with Han to start out with. I think their chemistry is pretty decent.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad.
I thought they were dating when they first showed up.
Yeah, well, kind of are. Were they?
Well, but later they imply that they're not. Qi'ra's like...
Well, they were running... Well, that's after they've been apart for 3 years.
Well, yeah, I just feel like Qi'ra wouldn't be so flustered when L3 asks her about it.
I think she was flustered because how cool L3 was.
That's fair. Anything else in the Corellia scene?
There's one more thing, but yeah.
The dice again? Do we see the dice again?
We see the dice again.
Oh, thank God.
No, but in this scene, they're running away from Lady Proxima because...
the light.
They want to be free.
True. And Han stole the coaxium.
Coaxium enough to get them out of there. And we get to the...
little Imperial area.
The Imperial area where they're on the run. They throw the rock, and they're trying to get out of things. They bribe the Imperial officer. Nice to see a female Imperial.
Right?
They're expanding the world. I appreciate that. One thing I appreciate with just new Star Wars movies, how they're expanding the world with aliens and just different things and like that kind of stuff.
I am glad that we still don't see aliens in the Empire because the Empire were renowned racist.
Yes. fucking aliens, man. The Empire hates them.
The Empire really, really does.
But as they're trying to get out, they get separated. Han, for some reason, isn't the one getting stuck. You know what I mean? I find that a little interesting, just from my personal point of view, because if I'm with my girlfriend or someone like I love, I'm like, you're getting out first. You know what I mean?
That's true.
But it's also very much... But I think that's just a way for them to be separated.
Well, it was also... He was, pulling her. It was just she got grabbed.
Yeah, but I would have pushed her, and then I'm, like, fighting them off,
Oh, well, but he was hoping they could get through before.
Obviously, but still, she's going through first. You know what I mean?
I can see where he was going with it.
I guess, but...
Yanker.
He could have been better. In that moment, Han wasn't enough. And I think he realized that by the end,
Yeah, he probably wishes
he wishes he would have done things
through her.
Through her. He just like...
Just yeet her in there,
I do appreciate, though, that she's like, get the... Like, once they get caught, she's like, go, run, they'll get you, and then...
And then he has to run.
Because, honestly, Qi'ra can handle herself. So.
Also, Qi'ra's not the one in trouble.
Yes.
She didn't throw the rock.
That's true. But still.
Look, Lady Proxima would have killed Han.
That's true. You're right.
He assaulted her with the sun.
Fair.
So Qi'ra...
The sun is... What a dangerous weapon the sun is.
Qi'ra was like, well, the most I'll get is a slap on the wrist. The most Han will get is beheaded.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think... Yeah.
In that moment, they both wanted the other one to be free, obviously.
Mm-hmm. And then after that, we get the worst moment of this movie.
Easily.
I
wonder what'll be our we're smarter than this moment.
I honestly have no clue what it's going to be, Dan.
Me neither. So, Han goes up to an Imperial officer, and he's trying to get off the planet. What better way to get off the planet than signing into the Imperial Navy?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty alright idea. And he's like... And the Imperial guy's like, well, most people go into infantry, and Han's just immediately, no, I'm a good flyer, so put me in the Navy. And he goes, okay, so what's your name?
What is your name, sir?
Han.
What is your clan? What is your race? Not your race. What is your family?
I don't have any family. I'm alone.
Oh, you're alone. Well, Han Solo.
Alono.
Fuck that.
I wish...
That's so lazy.
It is.
And I don't need to know this.
Yeah.
Talk about, if you're going to give us information we don't need, at least try to make it good.
Yeah.
This is just information we don't need done poorly.
He could... why do they have to make it that he doesn't have, a real last name?
Right?
Solo can just be a last name.
Yeah, or he's like, my name's Han Solo. How did he get that? Who gives a fuck? Solo could be, like you said, Solo could be last name.
That's far from the weirdest name we see in Star Wars.
Right? We get a character later named Therm Scissor Punch.
Exactly.
Therm Scissor Punch. One word.
So, we don't need to explain what Solo is, guys. I think we get it.
We get it.
It's already hard-handed enough that his last name is Solo. That's a little hard-handed already, because Lucas is a visionary. But hammering it in even harder with the I'm alone moment is just unnecessary.
We don't know Kira's last name, do we? She's just Qi'ra.
Qi'ra, that is all we know.
Is it a dash?
Or hyphen, apostrophe, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
The little dot with the squiggly on the bottom.
Yeah.
I passed English.
I believe you.
I was good.
I American well.
I American. I think so, but that is...
That
I think all for Corellia.
Covers Corellia, and yeah.
And Han signs up for the Navy.
Some interesting stuff here. Some really bad stuff. Slow start, but we keep poking. Then we go to Mimban.
Mimban?
And we go on his experiences with the Imperial Army.
Because he got kicked out of the Navy. And got sent into the infantry. What a shitty situation.
Apparently he was a pilot with the mind of his own,
That was his excuse. I'm sure he did some reckless flying and wrecked a TIE or something.
Yeah.
Not wrecked a TIE as in you, wrecked a TIE as in a TIE fighter.
Dan, one of the best parts of this sequence is we get to see another badass trooper outfit. The Mud Trooper.
The Mud Trooper! Interesting tidbit about the Mud Troopers, they actually aren't stormtroopers.
Stormtroopers are out during storms. Mud Troopers are out after the storms when it's all muddy, right?
No.
That's not how it works?
No.
Explain.
The Stormtrooper Corps is its own thing, which has all these, pretty much every other unit we know of.
Mm-hmm.
The Mud Troopers are actually part of, it's actually just called the Imperial Army.
Okay.
They are just actually an army, they're not Stormtroopers.
They're like their own little thing.
They're like their own division, they're more for like the extensive ground war.
Mud, yeah.
Yeah, like on Mimban, because Mimban is in a long-scale war where they're just slowly conquering this planet who does not want to give up.
Yes.
At least that's the way that I've read it. I'm not entirely sure where this information is purloined from. I read it on Wikipedia.
Is that like Wikipedia where you can just edit it as you see fit, or do you have to have like...
You have to have sources, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just want to say I'm not entirely sure where this information comes from. I don't know if it's from the Visual Dictionary or something.
Oh yeah, it's somewhere out there.
But I'm sure it sounds believable.
You didn't get this from Lucas himself or like Kathleen Kennedy.
I was on the phone with Bob
Iger, CEO of Disney, Pablo Hidalgo.
I was on the phone with Pedro Pascal, and he told me everything I needed to know about the Imperial
He told
military.
You what the Mandalorian's name is?
No.
Apparently he's been doing that.
Oh, okay. What if he's just saying his name's Pedro?
It's not. I looked. I read the article.
Why did you read it?
Because it popped up in my feed for some reason.
Wow. All right. Okay.
Dan, what do you like the most about this section?
Other than the bitchin' design of Mud Troopers,
yeah,
I really do like the introduction of Beckett's crew.
Yeah,
I like the like how they kind of just have they're professional bullshitters where it's just Han's like, "What do we do, Captain?" and talking to Beckett, and Beckett's like, "All right, well, we're gonna gather up and we're gonna go around." And
I really like Rio and Val's reaction there where they start laughing. Yeah, Captain, what are we doing?
Yeah,
that's a good moment.
I do, because I think that fits because they're sleazy scoundrels and are just kind of playing it by ear.
Mm-hmm.
And they just shot a captain and took his uniform.
Right.
And of course, I always love seeing Beckett like fight because
he's so cocky too.
It's so.
I wonder where Han gets it from.
It's so over exaggerated the way he's spinning the guns, but it fits because this is Han's like
pretty much ends up being his mentor.
Yeah,
it's his dude.
So he's just standing on the front line, just spinning his blasters all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Like a couple Beyblades.
Beyblades.
Let him rip.
Is that the right thing? Let him rip Beyblades?
Yeah, that's let him rip.
I get that and back. We got mixed up all the time.
They're pretty. I think they're the same universe.
Same universe. And then like the same universe.
Corey in the House.
Corey in the House and Clifford's in, right?
Clifford the big red dog.
Yeah.
He's my favorite Mary Sue.
But yeah. It's cool. I really like Beckett's crew. Rio and Val and Beckett.
One day I want to read their little comic because don't they have a comic?
Beckett has a comic.
Or I'm sure they're in it.
I think they're doing something. I think she's the most. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think you wasted that actress. She's a really good actress. You haven't seen Westworld, but she's one of the standouts of Westworld. I don't remember her name off the top of my head. I'm going to pull it up because I got to give her the respect.
I know, I for sure don't know.
I got to give her the respect she deserves.
I like Rio.
What else do you like about this?
Well, of course, I like seeing the ground war. I like seeing the Empire, in a full-scale war. Because the rebels
are fighting, Dan? The rebels?
They're fighting Mimban. They're conquering it. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what species resides on Mimban. We don't really get to see. We don't see who they're shooting at. It's just shit is blowing up. And so, but they're just conquering a planet. I like seeing that because
an actual ground war, just in the trenches.
And seeing them actually conquer a planet because we hear about it a lot, but a lot of the time we don't get to see it. It's just kind of one day the Empire's there a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like how it's nighttime too, and so
yeah.
I like the overhead shot of the people shooting, There's an overhead shot like.
When they run out, when Beckett gives them the plan.
Yeah, that's a really good shot.
I also like seeing the little carriers dropping off the walkers, the ATSTs.
Oh yeah.
And then the ATS, and like one of them drops off an ATST and flies away, and then the ST just gets blown up instantly because it's a war.
Yeah. The actress's name is Thandie Newton, and she deserved better.
Yeah. Well, it's. I always feel like someone deserves better when their character dies, like 25 minutes after being introduced.
Yeah. But yeah, do you know what I was just thinking about when I was looking that up, which we should have done for this podcast? Like a year ago, one of the writers tweeted out 100 fun facts about this movie. I should have got some of them to read.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I would actually I had one that was in my head. Yeah, because when they cast her in this movie, they didn't realize how big of a deal she was on Westworld, and they came out and said they regret not having her do more or being a more important character because wasting her. They've been doing that a lot when the sequel is wasting good actors. Gwendolyn Christie.
Yeah, that's the most.
Thandie Newton. Honestly, I think they waste Rio because he's hilarious. Jon Favreau's Rio.
Well, but that's like more of a voice thing. You can kind of use the same voice somewhere else with just a different tone. Rio. But I just mean, it's not necessarily wasting the actor there.
That's true. He voices a lot of people in Star Wars, actually.
Yeah.
But still.
I feel
Sequel Disney's good at wasting actors.
But I don't think there's anything more egregious.
They almost wasted Oscar Isaac.
True. I don't think there's anything more egregious than wasting Brianna Tarth.
Honestly, they're wasting Domhnall Gleeson, Bill Weasley, General Hux.
General Hugs,
since he's such a cartoon. But we'll get to that in a few weeks.
Well, yeah, we'll get to sequels later.
We'll talk more about wasting actors, but then we get the pivotal moment. I think one of the best moments of this movie coming up in this sequence:
the pit
scene.
Han realizes that they're bullshitting. Because he sees the holes in Beckett's armor, and he sees Rio's hands peek out underneath his coat to pull his pants up, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And he calls him out on it, and then Beckett, being a professional bullshitter, just calls the lieutenant over and is like, hey, we got a deserter, don't believe him.
Right, yeah.
And they're like, okay, feed him to the beast.
It also didn't help right before then, when they were in the crew after he left, Han was kind of sassy with the general.
With the lieutenant,
so they're like, okay, I believe you.
Yeah.
So that helps, but yeah.
Because Han was like, we're the invaders. It's their planet. You don't say that in a Nazi dictatorship.
Right.
That's how you get executed. That's why he probably got kicked out of the Navy, honestly.
Probably.
He didn't want to bomb. He was too much of a wimp to bomb innocent civilians.
I believe it.
Oh, absolutely.
And then we get to see. This is one of the things that
makes you want to see the other cut?
That you wanted to see? No, not the other cut. Yes, because this is the only thing from the cut that stayed. But also, this is something like that I would have been okay never seeing, but it's okay to see it because they did it so well, too. Han meet Chewie for the first time.
I think this is a big thing to show for the fandom as a whole. This is a big, important thing to see.
It's important, but, I don't think it's devastating if we don't see it. I think it could be handled really poorly.
Well, I think it's more of if they do a Han Solo origin story and we still don't see how he meets Chewbacca.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
The Kessel Run and Chewbacca are the things you have to do.
Yeah.
Everything else is kind of just extra.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's too much, sometimes not. But yeah, the pit scene. This is probably the first or the second best part of this movie.
Handled very well. They just slap a cuff onto Han's leg and throw him into a pit of mud. Where the beast is waiting.
The Beast.
The Beast! I love that title for him.
Oh, he's a beast.
He is a beast.
He's a freaking unit.
They have a really, because of course it is Chewie. He comes out, they're cuffed together, so you have a lot of slapsticky humor with that. Like Han trying to run away, and Chewbacca just grabs the chain and yanks it.
Mm-hmm.
And Han just goes flying towards him. And then I really like the bit of Han speaking Wookiee.
Yeah.
He does it, and then Chewbacca's like, what? And then Han's like, I speak a little, okay? That was a very Han moment.
Yeah, and the very Han moment after that, it's like, oh, I speak Wookiee. I'm going to call you a dumb Wookiee.
You Kashyyyki and Moof Milker.
Mm-hmm. Calls him a dumb Wookiee, and then, yeah, it's a nice little fun battle. Not battle.
Not a...
But a fun...
tussle.
Scrap. That's a good scrap.
It's a good scrap.
then once they realize they're working together, I like them like pretending to hit the pole, and they're like, shit, this ain't working, and they just throw him through the pole.
And then he ends up throwing Han up over the ledge to get him up there. Yeah. I like their
dynamic.
Yeah, works very well in this film.
Yes, they got good moments between them.
And then they try to run the other way, another slapstick moment, because Chewie is a massive beast, and Han is this little kid, so Han just falls...
Little kid, I'm a little boy.
You know what I mean, in comparison.
Yeah.
Chewie starts running, and Han just gets, like, face plants into the ground and is just dragged away. Lots of physical comedy.
Then they escape.
Yeah, they find Beckett, and Beckett is like... They find them after they steal the AT-ST carrier, and they're about to take off, and Beckett's just like, well, I'll be damned.
Got out. Worthy addition to our team.
And then Rio's like, Wookiees have a lot of muscle.
Wookiees. And then we get one of the funnier moments of Han and Chewie taking a shower together.
Yeah, because it's like the angle of like you see Han's feet and you see the mud falling, so he's taking a shower, and then you just see Chewie's feet walk up into frame, and he's just like, we could have done this one at a time.
Han should be happy that he's there. Once Chewie gets cleaned up, he's a nice like washcloth, like
just rub his fur,
like you can get down and greasy with Chewie's fur,
I feel like Chewie would try to snap your neck if you did that.
Probably, but that's when they really bonded. That's when you knew their friendship and their life debt or whatever the hell's going on there will never be broken. When you shower with another man, shower with your buddy, you're friends forever.
I was about to say, they have reached maximum level bro level because Chewie just flat out looked at Han's cock, probably. I'm just saying.
You are saying.
I'm just saying.
And that is the Imperial Army stuff and Mimban.
Mimban. I don't know how to pronounce the name of this planet.
After Mimban, we go to the planet of Vandor. What's at Vandor? Stuff. Is there a camp on Vandor? Are they camped out at Vandor?
Yeah, the camp is at Vandor. They have their little campfire scene. They have they talk about backstories.
Yeah, we learn more about Val and Beckett.
Rio doesn't really say much of anything.
Other than Wookiee.
You don't uninvite a Wookiee to a mission.
Oh, he has a great line there I love. Shit.
What was he talking about?
I don't remember. You just talk about the campfire scene, because I know there's some stuff you like about the campfire scene.
So
I'll look it up.
I do like Chewie, Chewie gives his little roars and Han translates for Rio, bringing up how all the Wookiees are enslaved. That was a whole plot line that isn't explored too much in most of the movies that I like that they bring up here. And then you have other cool stuff, like you have Han talking about Qi'ra and being like, oh, I'm going to go back for her no matter what, and everyone's like, you're going to go back to that shithole? And then I like the detail of...
I like how Val's like, it's a girl, isn't it?
Yeah. And then I like how Beckett pulls out this sniper rifle to hand to Han, but he just detaches everything from it, and it actually is Han's pistol. And that's why Han's pistol is so strong, because it was a sniper rifle.
Right, yeah.
That's a nice little touch, I think, to explain why his blaster has always been just, one shot, because it's a sniper.
Mm-hmm. That's a cool little touch.
And, it's another, nice little thing to see where he got his, iconic blaster that he just never parts with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also really like I said, Val being like, it's a girl, isn't it? She just knows.
Yeah. And she knows that look.
Yeah.
Because him and Beckett are very similar.
What we got after that, Danny boy?
Well,
then after that we get, pretty much, they're planning the heist.
Yes.
The train heist.
They first mention Enfys.
Coaxium.
Yeah, coaxium.
A whole boatload of it.
Which is what fuels hyperdrives. Very expensive stuff. And they've been contracted to get this. And honestly, I don't entirely see... What was their plan without Han and Chewie?
They probably couldn't have done the job.
They're
probably trying to find two other guys, probably.
Probably, because otherwise Beckett would have had to unclamp all the trains by himself. Because they had to unclamp two sections of the train.
Yeah.
They probably were, because, that was another thing I wanted to say with the campfire scene. Vala's, listing off other people that could have been hired, and she mentions Bosk.
Yes, that's...
Who is a renowned bounty hunter. He's a Trandoshan. He's a big lizard guy. He's an Empire Strikes Back. And he hunts Wookiees.
I love that so much.
A big enemy of Chewbacca in Legends. Because he's a Wookiee hunter, and Chewbacca's the most noteworthy Wookiee.
Is he, though?
In the universe, yeah. Because Han's extremely noteworthy as, being a rebel.
Yeah.
Personal friend of Luke Skywalker. That's kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So For Chewie's the most noteworthy Wookiee. You find that scene you're looking for?
I can't find it. It's killing me right now.
So, but they start their job. We have the cool little train sequence. Everybody goes off to do their jobs, and they're all actually working pretty well together. Han's not, stepping out of line too much here. They start hooking on the cable car.
They also mentioned the Zahn sisters.
The Zahn, I don't know who those are.
Neither do I.
I know a lot about Star Wars, but I don't know everything. So if they're a previously existing character, please don't hate me. I can't wait to see, if we have, one comment that's just you don't know the Zahn sisters?
Right. I found the line.
Okay.
It's the best real line, other than Wookiee. When he's asking Han about the girl, he's like, is a girl? Is she nice? Does she have sharp teeth? I love that line of Rio asking her if she has sharp teeth.
That's probably a sexual thing for his species.
Yeah, kink for the Rios of the world.
For the Durant. No, that's his last name. I don't know his species.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I said the Rios.
The Rios.
But yeah, we get a cool ass chase sequence after the campfire.
Yes, the train sequence is very good.
One of the other best
quality
of this movie.
Very quality.
This is where we get introduced to the one, the only Enfys Nest.
And we introduced to the many, the only range troopers.
Oh yes, the best stormtroopers in the Star Wars universe. Come at me.
Are so sexy.
I love their winter fur.
I love their giant ass little magnet boots that actually are effective.
Where they're walking on the side when the train's turning. This is a great sequence. The train going around the mountains and stuff.
Yeah, it's a very cool looking area.
Yeah, I really like it. And then Enfys Nest and the Cloud Riders are we gotta fuck up Han.
That's what they're called?
The Cloud Riders.
Cloud Riders.
I think that's what they're called.
I couldn't remember her crew's name. I just knew Enfys.
Yeah. But yeah, fun scene here.
Yeah, nice little, action. You got, a scene that they weirdly chose to put at the end of the trailer where it's Chewie's about to get hit by a rock. And it's
that was the end of the first trailer. That's kind of, was Chewie gonna die? Yeah. Is he gonna die, Dad? I don't know.
It's well... Gee, I wonder if Han's gonna pull him away in time.
I really like the idea of Han meeting a different Wookiee, and then he dies there. We thought that was Chewie, and then he meets Chewie later. That'd be freaking hilarious.
He meets Chewie on Kessel or something.
Yeah, it'd be bad storytelling, but it'd be funny.
It would be pretty bad storytelling. It would be hilarious.
But then we get a fun chase scene, fighting. Beckett and Enfys Nest go at it.
Doesn't last very long because Enfys just crushes his slices his blaster. I love her staff.
We don't know it's a her yet, Dan.
Spoilers.
It's funny because they all think it's a dude.
The voice modulator.
Yeah, and Beckett's always calling him, but turns out Beckett's a woman.
Beckett's a woman?
Yes.
What?
No, Enfys Nest is a female.
Her staff, I like having the little blade on one side and then that cool repulse thing.
She's good, man. She can solo teams in Galaxy of Heroes.
That was what spoiled a lot of people that she's a girl because it says in her description in Galaxy it says she.
Oh yeah. Was she out before the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, but I think there's rumors that she was a female anyway before that.
I just remember seeing a lot of posts on Reddit being like, "What the fuck, man?"
Well, one thing that's a fun thing is the one thing I don't like. We kind of touched on this already. Is Val and Rio die here.
Yeah.
This is very soon after we meet them.
We don't get too much time with them. We don't get no real connection to them. Rio's funny, and as you said, Val has a good actress.
And she's cool.
Yeah, and she's cool, but nothing to be like...
she left an impression. Neither of them left a real impression other than we enjoyed them.
I'm sure you ask 95% of the people who have seen this movie, and I doubt most of them would be able to tell you what either of their names were.
Yeah. They're both 3 letters. Like, how can't you remember that, you know?
We only remember them because we know a lot of names.
Yes. Yeah. I really like this sequence, this whole sequence. Probably one of my favorites.
Very good.
This is where the movie started picking up.
Yes.
For me. And yeah, after that, we go to Dryden's ship. Next segment. What are we on? Segment 4 of 7?
Yes.
Segment 4. This is a shorter section.
But we do also have one important thing to bring up. Han does disconnect the cables and drops the coaxium.
Yes. And we get a big explosion, which shot very well. I really like how it looks.
Yeah, I like the way it's designed, the explosion. And you have Beckett screaming, "You coward," at him when he drops it, because they were going to ram into a mountain, because Enfys was trying to pull it too. Mm-hmm.
And then, because Beckett didn't tell him, we weren't stealing it from ourselves, we got hired to steal it. Which is, if you would have told him that, maybe things would have turned out differently.
Yeah.
So Beckett, that's on you.
That is absolutely on Beckett. Because
Han made the right decision.
Han made the right choice there, because as far as he knew, it's like, oh, well, this is just something we're stealing for ourselves, you know. Sure, we'll lose profit, but it's better than fucking dying.
Right?
I mean, it's probably still better than dying either way, but at least give a man some warning.
Right. Just give him a chance, you know. And then we go to Dryden's ship, who is Yacht.
Yeah.
That is who has hired them to do the job.
Crimson Dawn.
We don't get a lot here. I only have 3 notes for this section.
There's not too much to bring up.
This section is just really important because we meet Dryden Voss, the lead, and he's not the leader. He's the head, one of the head guys of Crimson Dawn, one of the higher-ups.
He's the face of Crimson Dawn, I would say. He's the face
of Crimson Dawn. We meet him, and he has cool blades I like.
I do like his blades. I like his facial markings that darken when he gets mad.
And his eyes get really red.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's underutilized.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we just need a guy.
Yeah, we need a villain. Not everyone's going to be super fleshed out.
Yeah, we learn more about the Crimson Dawn. We see creatures and aliens at this party. There's a guy in a jar singing with a lady. You see the guy in the jar singing too?
Yeah, he was singing too. That's why he was up there. And then Dryden has these really fucked up human drones. They're like the servants that
at the party, with the drinks and stuff. Or?
Yeah, and they don't have the top part of their head. Mm-hmm. It was actually a mad scientist basically super lobotomized them by removing their brain, and they're just husks.
Like Grievous kind of? Or no, he has a brain.
No, they don't even have a soul anymore. Dude, just build droids!
Right?
What's the problem with droids?
Hey, as we learn later though, Dan, droids are people too.
These droids can be rebuilt. Jesus. You cut off the top of these people's heads. I just thought that was a fucked up thing to bring up.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. But yeah, it's an interesting, fun tidbit. One thing I like about this is the first time we see Twi'leks in New Disney.
True.
This is the first time Twi'leks pop up in the new Disney Star Wars.
Yes.
Which is cool, because Twi'leks are awesome.
And Twi'leks are everywhere in every other part of Star Wars.
Yeah, so it's about time we saw them.
Maybe there's something that happens between 6 and 7 that we don't know yet.
Maybe that's the Purge.
Maybe. Well, how many Purges are there?
Well, I know soon we're going to know about some Purge troopers.
True.
So, Purges are just happening everywhere.
Purges are everywhere.
Well, the most important, significant thing that happens here
Qi'ra.
is we get reunited with Qi'ra.
She's here.
We're what are you doing here?
I like her dress here.
Yeah, I like her necklace.
Yeah, the giant necklace. Crimson Dawn necklace.
Mm-hmm. I just like everything about Qi'ra, you know?
I know you do.
But, yeah.
They have, that, little awkward, not, awkward, but, surprising reunion, so Han's, kind of dazed.
Mm-hmm. And then he notices, the tattoo on her arm eventually. Brand.
Different.
Those are tattoos of the
prehistoric
fire age.
Those are tattoos of fire.
Yes. Would you ever get a brand?
No. Would you?
Depends what it was and the situation.
The Crimson Dawn sigil on your wrist.
Like I said, I'm not opposed to anything if there's a right reason and motivations behind it for me. You know what I mean? I need a reason.
I don't care what it's for. I'm not fucking branding myself. I'm the guy who gets grossed up by tattoos, though.
But I'm also the guy who wants to... I'm not going to talk about this on the podcast. Never mind.
We'll save that for a future episode.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
If you really want to know what I'm talking about, you're watching this podcast and you know me, text me.
My phone number is beep.
My phone number is 555-555-5556.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I love that number. But, yeah. I just like them seeing each other again, reuniting. It's fun. I'm happy for Han.
They have that little happy reunion, and then Dryden comes out, and you see just like Qi'ra, just like.
Qi'ra be like, oh, Han's like.
Qi'ra has like the oh fuck moment.
I don't think Han truly realizes what's going on either.
No, Beckett like tries to warn him, like, keep your eyes down, and Han has like the over exaggerated like turns his head down to like look at his feet.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know the world he's in.
Yeah.
And that's the point.
So pretty much not much else happens here, but they have a meeting where they decide we gotta figure out how are you gonna repay us? Are we gonna kill you, or you got a plan to get us our Quaxium?
Because Dryden was like, well, my boss wants repayment in some degree. Either I kill you or you get Quaxium. And they come up with their little plan. And
then Han's like, he's in the meeting, he's like trying to pitch the idea and like...
Yeah, and is like trying to like bump into every sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Like Qi'ra starts talking and she's like, it's so unstable that you have to. And Han's like, yeah, you gotta...
Well, that was that one moment because she was like talking to Dryden, not talking to Greg, but yeah, fun stuff. They're like, they're like Quaxium. No, Han's like, what about Quaxium? That's not what's the word?
Refined.
It's
unrefined.
And then Kira's like, oh, there's some on Kessel. So then they're like, we're gonna need a fast ship. And where do we get a fast ship?
Coincidentally, also on Vandor.
And coincidentally, the Millennium Falcon. So that ends that section. We're off to the Poker Shack, I'm going to call it.
On Vandor.
On Vandor. They're still there because obviously they get on a ship. They got to find a ship somewhere on Vandor.
They got lucky Lando's here.
And who happened to be on Vandor, Dan?
One Mr. Calrissian.
One Mr. Lando Calrissian.
One Mr. Childish Landino.
I like that one. Childish Landino.
That's the fan name I've seen going around for him. That's the only reason why I know this guy's name.
Right. You know what's his real name?
I don't know.
Do you know what Childish Landino is a reference to?
Childish Gambino.
Which is his rap name.
I couldn't tell you what his real name is, though.
Donald Glover.
Okay.
He's pretty cool.
People, I don't know any actors' names.
One day.
I only know them if they've been in Star Wars.
And you still don't know them when they've been in Star Wars.
Well, this is the newest one! Give me some time.
No. Chaos is a ladder. No, but yeah, we meet Lando here. What do you like, Dan, about my favorite part of this Lando sequence, of this whole poker thing, is we finally get to see them play Sabacc for the first time together, and we get to meet one of the cooler droids in Star Wars.
I'm a big fan of, I know it's a small little tidbit, but I am a big fan of Lando continually calling him Han.
Han,
like he did in Empire.
Because Billy D just didn't know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah.
It's weird that Lucas wasn't like, dude, you're saying it wrong.
Lucas wasn't in that one.
He's still on set.
Well, but he wasn't director.
So still, this is your baby.
This is Lucas. Well, this is before he went off the deep end.
Well, clearly this is where he went off the deep end. He's like, dude, it's not that hard to say Han. You're getting paid to do a job. Say Han. Unless it was intentional, but I don't believe it was intentional. Han. I think it was Billy D just said Han.
But it's weird because then they kind of commit to it, and I don't think he ever calls him Han.
No. We'll see how it goes in, oh no, if he mentions Han and Rise of Skywalker, if he says Han.
Well, if he mentions it in Rise of Skywalker, he's definitely going to say Han.
Yeah.
Because now they're self-aware about it.
I really didn't notice the Han thing till the end, though.
Well,
I didn't pop for me. Like when they were talking, I didn't realize he was saying Han until the very end. Maybe because I was on my phone, but
he said it's the first thing. Like when Han first sits down, and he's like, "Hey, Lando," and then Lando goes, "Yeah, Han." I do like them.
Yeah, doesn't he sit down? And he's like, "What's your name?" Han. He's like, "Your name's Han," or what? He says Han right away.
Well, it's like the very next scene because Han goes to ask him a question and is like kind of a little bit too happy-go-lucky in the way he says Lando. So Lando's like Han.
Han.
But I like seeing them
interact.
Yeah, like seeing their first meeting and how Han really just hates him because Qi'ra's gushing over him because he's Lando, he's suave.
And how could Qi'ra not be in love with him?
So
Han be into it.
Han is just super jealous, and I like the little dynamic of whenever Qi'ra and Lando are talking, they're just shushing Han away like a child.
Yeah, let the grown-ups speak.
Yeah, and Chewie's trying to console him.
You're just gonna fly the plane. I'll get you the plane. But yeah, we see they gotta get the ship.
Falcon.
They gotta get a ship, and so they play Sabacc for the first time.
Cool little poker session, high stakes poker with a bunch of aliens.
My favorite part about this is I'm gonna use this as there's also something that happens at the end, but like we're just gonna talk about it now too. One of my favorite things about this poker session is I thought Han was gonna win the Falcon here, and he didn't.
Yes.
And I really appreciate that little like subverting of like what we thought was gonna happen. Like, because you're like, okay, he gets the Falcon and he wins it from Lando in a poker, or a Savak game. I keep on poker. My bad.
It's basically poker.
But and then you're like, oh, it's gonna happen here, and he doesn't. You're like,
what?
What happened? And I really like that little moment because, like we can say, at the end, he finally wins it.
I also like that Lando is cheating here.
Oh yeah,
because Lando's a pirate. He's a scummy guy. He's very suave and very, silver-tongued, whatever the phrase is. Silver-tongued, I think is the word.
That's fine with that.
So he's like good at like seeming like a genuine guy, but he has the little like the shoot up his sleeve that like shoots out the card.
He just has so much charisma. You just like don't like.
You don't think he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
And Han is counting.
That's how the serial killers get you.
And Han's counting the cards and realizes that Lando had to have been cheating. He's like, there wasn't enough green of whatever that green card was called. He's like, there's not enough of them in the deck. He couldn't have gotten one.
So he loses the
everything.
Card, everything. So Dan, how do they get the Falcon then?
Well, Qi'ra just decides to hire him for the job.
Han loses everything. Okay, I guess we can hire him.
I mean, I do like that because Han got himself into the situation of like, no. I got this.
Yeah, I like it too because
it's setting it up.
He was going to win there. And I love that he didn't.
I do love that a lot because it is very much like a what?
And then we meet L3 a little bit after the party game. And I love her. The voice actress is brilliant. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, if you guys have ever seen what's the show called on Amazon?
I don't know why you looked at me.
I know, I'm trying to think of it. She has a show on Amazon. She just won a bunch of Emmys for it. I can't think of a name off the top of my head right now, but I think she does a really good job as the voice actor. She has some really funny lines.
She does have some really good lines.
Especially once we get to Kessel, but like...
She's the comedy relief now that Rio's gone.
Yeah.
And I like that. Because it's well written.
And I like how she's like... We'll talk about this more later, but yeah, I'll talk about it later. But yeah, I really like her. Fun fact, she's at the droid cage because they're fighting. She's like, droids are people too. And that
droids are oppressed.
But my favorite thing is Tidbit, Ron Howard, who came in to direct the film after Lord Miller got fired, always puts his brother in every movie he's in. His brother was
the announcer?
His brother was the guy in the cage with the droids.
Yeah, like the little ref.
Yeah, the ref. I thought that's a little fun tidbit.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, we meet L3.
The SJW of Star Wars.
I don't know. We're not going to use that term here. We're not gonna
but she's like a parody of one.
Yeah.
She's so over the top about it.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what they were going for, though.
But
a little. No, because people complain about that. I'm like, we have one character in this huge universe that cares about droids who's a droid. Fuck off.
Well, but also it's not like it's like... We'll talk about it in Kessel, but... It doesn't work for her.
Yeah.
Like, she fails.
Mm-hmm.
If it was, like, SJW stuff, she would have won, and then, like, all droids would be free forever sort of thing.
Yes. But, yeah.
So it's obviously not, like, a...
Yeah. People have problems with that, and I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
It's not like they're hammering it over our head, either. What's wrong with the droid wanting other droids to be free? Like, who gives a fuck?
It's all played for comedy.
No politics in my Star Wars!
It's all played for comedy, too.
I know.
It's not played to be
like I know people don't like her because of that. And I don't.
Yeah.
And I just think that's a dumb thing to not like Garrett for.
Like, you may have... I don't agree with it, but you may have an argument if it's, like, meant to be serious. I don't agree with it, but you might have a little bit of a point. But it's played for comedy, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Yeah,
she's very entertaining.
I love her.
I love her and Lando's relationship a lot, too.
Yeah, we'll get to that a little more here in a minute. Because we get to the Falcon, and then we're on the Falcon for a while. Yes. They gotta get the thing off, and we're on the Falcon. And no, one fun fact, or sing.
Yes, they do mention... Lando drops that... Because Beckett comes up when he's being...
After everything.
Well, he's being offered the job by Qi'ra.
Mm-hmm.
And then Beckett comes up and is like, we'll give you 25%. And Lando turns around and is like, you're Beckett. You killed Aura Singh. And he's, I'm sorry. I got a notification.
Don't worry about it. Come on.
Oh, it's something about the mic, though.
Oh, what is it?
We'll look at it later if something goes wrong.
Okay. You want to take a quick break and then?
Yeah, I'll actually pause it so I can see what's up with the mic. That's the only thing that's concerning.
Okay, we'll be right back. Our mic caught on fire. It's fine. We had to go buy a new one. No, I'm just fucking.
Yeah,
we just had to make sure everything was good. My internet crashed.
It's been 3 days since our last recording session. We're currently in the street.
Yeah.
Where were we? Aura Sing.
They came after us for the liking L3.
Fuck, that was fast.
That was fast, you know. But yeah, some of my favorite parts of this movie happen on the ship.
Yes.
I really enjoyed them being together. We get the scene with Chewbacca and Beckett playing. I feel bad for not knowing the name of this.
The chess game with the hologram.
And the funny thing is, where they pause it is right where it picks up in A New Hope.
In A New Hope.
Which is cool.
It's also kind of hilarious that they didn't touch it all those years. Also, I did want to say one thing, because we paused right when we were talking about Aura Singh.
Oh, yeah, Aura Singh.
She's basically Boba Fett's mom, for people who don't know. Not literally, but she is his surrogate mother after Jango dies. Her and Bosk essentially kind of raise him. It's kind of hilarious. And we don't know how she died, and this is the first time we've heard of it.
Yeah, he's her mom. Not his mother, his mom.
Yes. And then Bosk is like his dad or
his father. No, not his dad, not his father.
Yeah, his dad, not
They raised him.
His dad.
Father and mother imply biologic. Mom and dad is who raises you. That's how I like to determine it. But yeah, Chewie, you like the Chewie and Beckett chess little moment?
Yeah, I like seeing Chewie's gamer rage immediately. Yeah. Their video games cause violence.
Right. Yeah, it does, though.
I just like making that joke. I'm sorry.
I know. And I hate it.
It leads to, like, the bit...
Too real!
It leads to, like, the New Hope thing, where it's, like... Where Han's like, be careful there. Wookiees are known to be violent when they lose. Rip the arms out of the sockets when they lose.
One of the best parts about exploring Lando in this movie more is we get to see his closet of capes. He has an extravagant cape collection, and I just love how Qi'ra's just like, oh my god, I want them. And then later, when they're on Kessel, she's wearing one of them.
It's even funny, because even though she wants the capes, even she says, maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah, a little bit too much.
It's just a closet full of capes.
See, I don't think it's too much. You do you, Lando. You swab.
Oh, absolutely.
You can pull that shit off.
He can pull it off.
He gets it.
Absolutely.
But and I like how we get we get Han and Qi'ra talking in the closet. I have a really fun tidbit about this scene. But this is a fun moment. They're talking. He's trying to get her to, like, once they're done, be like...
He's being like, come with me.
I think, do they share a kiss here, too?
Yes.
But the fun tidbit is...
They start making out here, actually.
Yes. George Lucas was there when they were shooting the scene that day.
Really?
Yes. And originally in the scene, when Qi'ra hands Han the cape, he hangs it up. And George Lucas was like, I don't think Han would do that. So as you watch that scene, Han just takes the cape and just puts it against the wall and just lets it hit the floor. He just, like, throws it behind him pretty much. And I thought that's a fun little, like, yeah, that's something Han would do.
That is Han's character.
Han wouldn't hang it up nicely.
No.
He'd just be like, yeah. But he's like, Qi'ra, the person I'm in love with is in front of me. I've been waiting years to see you and spend time with you.
And this is right before they start. This is when they start kissing.
Yeah, they start kissing after this. Yeah.
No, it's while they're kissing. He goes to, like, that's when he drops it.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
He's like leaning in for the kiss, and he's trying to put the coat away or the cape away, and he just drops it.
Mm-hmm. But I really like that little fun moment tidbit.
That's nice. I forgot I had heard about that Lucas was on. I didn't know about that moment in particular.
Lucas has, I think, been to everything except 7 and 8 sets, except the saga stuff.
Well, because he's
butthurt over that.
He's butthurt over that.
Well, yeah. Anything else about? I know we have one more thing to talk about. Anything else you want to talk about with any of that stuff?
I do like how Han gets cock blocked here.
Oh yes, Beckett comes in.
Beckett comes in and is like, "Come here."
And then they're going to Kessel.
We have a little girl talk in a little bit. I don't know if this is what's next, but we have a little girl talk.
Yes, that's I think the last part of this.
Qi'ra and L3
before we get to Kessel. Fun girl talk between L3 and Qi'ra.
I like their little dynamic of, like, L3 is just like a gossiper.
Yeah.
She's like, so what are you going to do about your boy problem?
Just her delivery is so good.
Yes, her delivery is what sells it.
It's like, L3's delivery is so good. And then what does she say?
She's like, I know Lando has feelings for me. And Qi'ra, like, pauses for a minute and is like, how would that work?
Yes.
And L3's just, it works.
And yeah, she's like, what? I can't remember, but they're like, yeah. She's like, yeah, I know Wayne loves me, but it just wouldn't work between us, you know? We're like almost like, this is so good. So good. And this pretty much confirms, though, because people, like, what's the word for being into robots? Like, what sexual?
Autophilia? I don't know.
Whatever it is.
Mechanophilia?
No, not that. The more like, you know, it's like pansexual, homosexual. Like, there's like the things of sexual, like all the different variations of it. Yeah. There's been things about it that he was that he's into robots, and it's kind of true, which I love.
That would be like mechanosexual.
I don't know if that's a real thing or not.
But
if Tumblr made it up, Dan, it's not real.
I'm gonna have to break it to you, Ty. I'm pretty sure Tumblr came up with 90% of it.
No, I don't know, man.
Considering that there's about 1 billion tags.
But there's a term.
No, yeah.
There's like a technical term.
Why is this a theory from before this movie?
No, yeah, it'd been like, yeah.
I don't know where this is rumored from. Like, where did this idea come from? That
Probably for his love for the Falcon.
Huh.
I just had heard this was a thing before.
That had never registered to me.
Yeah, well, you didn't read Legends, Dan.
That is true. Did he fuck a robot in Legends?
I hope so.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
I don't know, but yeah, I heard something like that. But
okay.
Yeah. And then
you have Beckett say the line here.
Oh yeah, that's
expect everyone to betray you.
Foreshadowing.
Also,
we probably forgot something in between here and there. Shot of the dice.
Shot of the dice.
I'm sure we missed one. Just want to make sure we got that in there.
I think that's it for the Falcon, though. I think we're on to Kessel now.
Yeah, we're on to Kessel. And
another big part of the movie.
Another good, fun sequence of the movie.
Oh, yeah, I like when they're on Kessel. I like seeing the planet.
Yeah.
Because we hear the term the Kessel Run a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about how, it's this crazy, giant maelstrom around this planet. And you can only go through this very specific route, or else, you get... destroyed
by the monster,
or by the giant pieces of just rocks
just crumbling in together.
Yeah. And the Kessel is run by the Pikes, which is a crime syndicate that we see in the Clone Wars and all that sort of stuff. They're in the lost episodes of Clone Wars. They have the guy who was involved with Chancellor Valorum. They just had him kidnapped there for a couple decades. So they're very shady people, and they have a bunch of slaves here.
Yes, and they're here to get coaxium, but I guess they might accidentally free the slaves while they're here too. While they're at it, between L3 and Chewie, I think we're gonna free some slaves.
I love how it's all so accidental.
Yeah, one of the things I love about the scene more than anything, other than the accidentalness of it, is the little outfits that they have. It's all I love how Beckett's wearing
the skiff outfit that Lando wears in Return of the Jedi.
And I love Qi'ra's wearing Lando's cape. But she's pulling it off.
Yeah. And they're acting like they're selling Han and Chewie.
Mm-hmm. And then she gives him a good punch into the gut to sell it.
And guess what she gives him when she punches him in the gut? The dice! Baby!
The dice are important, guys!
I want more bits like this for other Star Wars movies where we just scream about it every time it happens.
But yeah, I'd say... Getting before the Kessel, I feel the standout part of the Kessel experience is L3, who's all about droid rights and them being equals. Because I remember at the bar she says they can't buy drinks or whatever.
Yeah, they don't serve our kind here, which is a reference to A New Hope when the bartender says that to 3PO.
Yeah, and she's but they're here to get the coaxium, and her role is to
hack the cameras.
The security and do the things, and she takes the
restraining bolt off of the unit in front of the computer she needs.
I love how she accidentally starts a droid rebellion.
Because she offhandedly says, "Go and free your friends" or whatever. I don't care. Just give me some space.
Yeah, that was it was delivered brilliantly. I love that line.
And I get it. It's obviously intentional, but all of her gadgets coming out of her
waist?
Her waist area just always looks weird because she has to crouch down. And
she's so tall.
Yeah, she's kind of big.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks very funny.
Yeah. Han's going to get the coaxium, and then Chewie abandons him to free his people.
I do also like the bit of when they take out the guards, Chewie finally rips his arms off.
Yes.
We finally see him holding some arms, and Han just has the depressed sigh of like, that was the outfit that would have fit me.
And then he bodies the dude into the ceiling.
Yeah, Chewie's really just...
We get to see Chewie fight here, like, for the first time
destroying some
in this
people.
movie. And I really enjoy that. Because he's a renowned, like, Wookiees are renowned for being powerful.
Warriors.
But yeah. What else? I like how we see Qi'ra get into the action, too. She throws some grenades when they're all fighting out.
She also is a practitioner.
Oh, yeah. We see her use
Terrascasi,
master of Terrascasi, on the PS2 near you. PS1 maybe.
Actually PS1.
PS1.
This was before the prequels were even announced.
That's funny.
Because Mara Jade is in it.
Another reason I like Qi'ra, she's a master of Terrascasi.
Masters of Terrascasi is, look it up, it's an infamous, really bad Star Wars fighting game, and I just love that they canonize it as a fighting style here, with Qi'ra just being like, it's called Terrascasi.
And I just love Qi'ra kicking some ass.
Yeah.
And then... it just turns into chaos.
Yeah, because the droids are having the rebellion. Chewie's freeing the Wookiees.
Beckett fucks up some people in the control room.
Yeah.
Shoots them, and they trap the guy in the room.
And they interrupt Lando recording a little like diary monologue.
The Lando Chronicles are called.
The Calrissian Chronicles.
The Calrissian Chronicles. There you go. It's like his web series or something.
It's like so like hyperbolic, like because it's like I'm so great sort of thing, and he has like the moment where he just looks up and he just goes. And he has to like put it down. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. The more we talk about this movie, the more I like it. But yeah, and then my favorite part of this sequence is chaos outside. They're trying to get back. They got the coaxium.
Yes.
And L3 takes some shots. She falls in battle. And it's devastating. Especially Lando running into fire to grab her because he means so much to her. They've been partners forever, maybe lovers. He's in love with her, possibly, like potentially actually in love with her. And I just love that moment of him screaming and just like trying to get her to come, and then she breaks off, and then he's trying to carry her back.
He keeps trying to go, and he gets shot.
Mm-hmm. And then Han's like, "Shit."
Han's like, "Damn it! Now I gotta go."
And then they get on the ship.
Lando's incapacitated.
And then everything turns into chaos.
Yes.
And they have to make the Kessel Run.
Because the coaxium is destabilizing. If it gets too warm, it will explode like at the beginning of the movie when they dropped it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably maybe a little bit more intense because this isn't refined, so it's more chaotic.
Yeah.
And if they use the normal route that is 20 parsecs long... they don't have enough time even with the ship being that fast. They have to make the run shorter, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so and then they see an Imperial Star Destroyer coming through the maelstrom.
That's a really cool shot of it, in the storm and stuff.
Yeah. And Han has the moment where he's like, don't worry, I was part of the Imperial Navy. They won't waste TIE fighters here. And then just like 10 TIE fighters just drop out of the bottom.
Mm-hmm. And then this whole time you're like, the Millennium Falcon looks really nice. It's pristine condition. It's like clean.
It has a weird front part to it.
Not for much longer.
Nope.
Beckett's on the cannon trying to take out these Star Destroyers. It's not Star Destroyers, these TIE Fighters.
And it's just one barrel.
Mm-hmm.
The Falcon gets messed up. It never truly recovers from this. Making the Kessel Run. Because Han just goes right into the maelstrom.
Yes.
Because there's a Star Destroyer in front of him.
And it's just chaos and shit. They're trying to escape the monster whose name is Sumo Verminoth?
Yeah, they see a giant, huge monster.
Octopus, just a creature, tons of tentacles everywhere.
That was one thing they foreshadowed earlier. They're like, there are vacuum-breathing creatures that are out there in the maelstrom, too, and this is one of them.
And it's not a Star Wars movie without a giant space alien.
Absolutely. I mean, after the Space Worm and Empire, come on.
Right.
We can accept anything.
But yeah, did you like seeing the Kessel Run?
I think...
How do you think they pulled it off?
I think it was pulled off pretty well. I like their way of explaining why it's measured in parsecs and not time.
Mm-hmm. Which is weird, but yeah.
Well, because it was a mistake in the original.
Yeah.
Parsec is a measure of distance, not time, and I don't think they knew that when they wrote the first one.
Right.
So it's like, I made it in 12 parsecs, and it's like, how?
How does that work? Yeah, that's a good way to explain that away. It's 20 parsecs long, and you got out of it in 12.
Because you did a little shortcut that no one else did.
Yeah.
Because no other ship could survive it. Also, they have the cool part where they integrate L3 into the Falcon.
Yeah.
Which also goes to explain a lot, actually, why they always call it a she, why Han in Empire says, talk to the Falcon, maybe she can give you some information, as if the ship is sentient.
It is sentient.
Whether or not it's truly sentient, they view it as sentient.
I really hope in Episode 9 we get a little bit, like, a reference to L3 with Lando.
Hopefully.
On the ship. That'd be cool.
Like, I miss you, girl, or something.
Yeah. One of my favorite moments of this whole chase sequence, other than them, like, actually doing the castle run, is when they're getting ready to fly. Han's like, how old are you? And Chewie's like, and then he's like,
you're 190?
Yeah, he's like, you look great!
Yeah.
That's a really fun moment. I remember laughing in the theater.
He didn't know how long Wookiees lived for, so he was like, what?
You look amazing, man. Give me some of that skin cream.
And so what they do is they trick the monster into going into a black hole by shooting the escape pod, which happens to be that weird part on the front of it. So then the Falcon looks like it always does after they detach it. Mm-hmm. And then they zip through. They have to. It's a pretty good sequence. I like it.
They got to put the coaxium in the hyperdrive
because the black hole's too strong. I think they called it a gravity well, not a black hole. If it was a black hole, I think they'd be fucked.
Yeah. Well, the thing I like about that is how it looked like it failed, but then it was like going back and
yeah, and then it just zipped.
But yeah, I really enjoy
the Kessel segment is quite good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything else to say on the Kessel segment? I think we've covered most of the things.
I think we covered it pretty well.
L3 is one with the ship now. Rest in peace, my girl.
I think we covered it pretty well.
Yeah.
We know the coaxium's getting real close to blowing up. Probably would have been around Parsec 13. And then they land in the final planet, whose name I don't remember.
Yes, we labeled this section the finale. We're going to talk about from like now till the end of the film. Yeah. They get to the mining place so they can get the coaxium refined.
It's the only coaxium refinery that is not being controlled by the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a nice little tidbit. The Falcon crashes here.
Yes, of course. Because
the Falcon
destroyed.
Got pretty fucked in the maelstrom.
We get at the very beginning of this, Han and Lando are talking. They're like off the ship or whatever, and he's what I don't remember what they say to each other.
Exactly. They're talking about like Han's like she's a great ship and whatnot, and then Lando just turns and looks at him and just goes, "I hate you."
He's like, "I'm gonna go sit in my ship now,
in my cabin, in my ship."
And then he's walking away, and Han says something, and I don't know what Han says, but Lando just throws his arm up like, I ain't having any of this.
No, because he's like, I never want to see you again. And Han's like, never? And so Lando just... God damn it.
Yeah. That's a little fun moment with Han. And then that's the last moment they have. Not the last moment. They play poker later. Well, but we already talked about the poker. We're probably not going to talk about it again. But that's their last moment till the very end of the movie where they play poker. And he wins his ship back.
Yep. Well, he wins the ship. It's not his ship yet.
You know what I mean. And yeah.
Then we get a confrontation with Nest.
Nest is there.
Nest has been tracking them.
And she's got everybody undercover or whatever. And not undercover, but they're like...
They just show up.
They're like surprised. Like they're already there waiting for them.
Yeah.
And this is where we get the reveal that Nest is a female.
Yes. Because Beckett is basically like, well, Crimson Dawn's already on the way. You kill us, they kill you.
Right. This is also where we get the great moment of Han and his... What's the word we talked about earlier? Like... Cockiness, like...
Trying to bullshit his way through it.
He's like, well, we got...
30 armed guards on that freighter right over there.
And what happens?
Lando flies away.
Falcon's gone.
Lando just takes off and flies away.
Lando's gone.
And then Han just, like, takes a few steps back and is just, I'm sorry.
And what happens? Emphas Nest pulls her thing out, cuts Beckett's head off, kills Han, kills Qi'ra, revives R3. L3.
No, she revives R3.
R3. No. But, no, do they fight Dan here? They don't.
Because they both know it...
They're screwed either way.
They're kind of both screwed.
So, they make a plan.
To work together, oddly enough. Well, it's not so much that they're both screwed, it's that Enfys is screwed here if they kill them. And so Enfys tries to get them on her side.
So they go and have a talk. And this is where we learn that...
The Crimson Dawn are bad people?
The Crimson Dawn are bad people. We knew that, but we learned the Cloud Riders and Emphas Nest are the good guys.
Yep.
They're doing it so it doesn't go in the hands of the wrong people. They're trying to help people.
They're an early movement of the rebellion.
They're not quite the rebellion, but they're just like people eventually probably join it.
Yes. Well, we do see one Ben Thick.
Yeah, we see Ben Thick and Weasel.
Two prior Ben Thick we see in Rogue One,
which was next week's episode,
which is chronologically later, and Weasel
we saw in episode 1.
Yes,
at the Pod Racers.
He's right next to Watto. He's played by Warwick Davis.
Also known as Wicket. He plays a lot of people.
He plays a lot of the short characters. They most of them have a W somewhere in their name. Wicket, Weasel.
But yeah, they're like I don't know if this is now or whatever or towards the end, but we learn more about Enfys Nest here, and we learn that her mother started this. Like her mother used to wear that helmet.
Her mother was Enfys Nest.
Her mother was Enfys Nest. I love that. That's why I want to know. She's one of the stand-ups to me in this movie because we don't get her a lot, but like when we get her, you want to know more about her. I just love how she's like, my mother passed this down to me, and I'm gonna wear it in her honor. And I like the idea of the nest like thing just being something that gets passed down from generation to generation in their family. I think it's cool.
I would also want to see that in like a wider scale of like seeing like multiple nests for the timeline.
Yeah, like maybe who's carrying the mantle like in the sequels, you know what I mean?
Yeah, or
she's still in it probably.
Or who's holding it like see what her mother was doing.
And the way she talks about her mom is like implying she's someone important too, I feel like. She's like, my mother was.
Yeah.
Like the way she just talks about her mother, I'm like, is this important? I feel like it is going to be important one day.
They also have the like kind of messed up story where Crimson Dawn removed the tongues from everyone in that village.
Yeah.
Because they spoke out.
Of the mining planet, or like where they're refining it?
I think it's implied to be the village that they're in at that moment.
Yeah, okay.
Because no one in that village speaks. Because I think it's implied to be that planet.
Yeah, probably. Because they all look like they haven't spoken in a while.
Yeah.
Because no one really speaks to them other.
No one spoke at all. None of the civilians spoke. Yeah, other than Nest, who
not even like Nest people spoke.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They start to try and form a plan.
And Beckett's like, either way,
I'm a head out.
I'm rolling out. So the plan is give the coaxium to Enfys Nest.
Bring fake coaxium.
Bring fake coaxium to the meeting, and then
shoot Dryden.
Just beat Dryden and get out of there. So that way Enfys Nest can get away with it, and we can survive.
Because they had the little coaxium containers. They cut out a hole in the lid and put Han's blaster there. Because on Dryden's ship, you got to give up all your blasters before they let you in.
Yeah.
So nice little plan. But Beckett even says, "There's a lot of ways this can go wrong. I'm done." And so he pieces out.
He also says people are predictable.
He did say people are predictable back when he was playing chess with Chewie.
Mm-hmm.
He said it, actually, ironically, he said it about Han.
Yeah.
Because Han asked where Qi'ra was. He's like, people are predictable.
And then they go meet Dryden Voss. And this is like literally like the only actual like fight of the movie.
Yes.
We have like a little battle on Kessel, but like this is like
an actual like
fight
that we would actually rank.
Yeah, this is the only fight we will be ranking later.
Because it's the only one that's a true.
The ones like more is like we really don't put battles on there.
Yeah, because battles are a little bit too large scale, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then
we can count two part of that. It'll all be in one thing. Is like what Enfys Nest and what she does on the island with them too. Like it's all.
Oh yeah. Against the guards.
Yeah, because they get there.
Someone betrayed them.
And Beckett betrays them.
Big surprise.
Because Dryden's looking at the coaxium and he's like, well...
You would have fooled me.
This looks pretty real. It's because it is real.
Beckett comes in and is like, I told you gotta expect me to betray you, or you gotta expect everyone to betray you. And Han pulls the whammy of, well, you said people are predictable, so we tricked you!
And the coaxium was there the whole time because they sent all their people after Nest on the island to get the coaxium.
And there's nothing there.
Nothing.
And just civilians wearing Nest's armor and stuff.
And then she comes down and just destroys them all.
Yeah, she jumps off the roof. She was like hiding with a shawl on or whatever, and jumps off the roof and just destroys them. And Beckett, being a businessman, realizes... Well, now Dryden only has 2 guards left, so he pops the 2 guards.
He's like, what is the line? He's like,
I only like to negotiate. I like to negotiate when I'm the only one with a blaster.
Yeah. And then he takes Chewie in the coaxium and ducks out.
And the whole time, Dryden is like, don't do this, you'll regret it. And Beckett is like, well, peace.
Right. And then we get the fight. I really enjoy this fight.
This fight is pretty cool.
Because there's multiple layers on it. Because we got Han has his blaster. He's going after Dryden. He's dodging. He's dipping. He's throwing his blades at him, slicing them. You see
Dryden has really cool blades.
Really cool, like hand, like
little knives that have like energy
like
on them.
Red energy, whatever the hell that is. And he's slicing and mowing, like trying to get Han. And then they're talking about like betrayals and stuff and like weird stuff.
Yeah, they're like.
And then Qi'ra joins the fight.
It flips Han over.
Has a knife at his throat.
Sword.
Kira's awesome in this sequence.
Kira just destroyed him, like, instantly.
And then what does she do? She has him down. She's like, what does she say?
She says...
Dryden says,
you don't know her.
You don't know her.
She knows how to go after someone's weakness.
Yes, which I really like that line.
And she was yours, sort of.
Then she turns around and slices Dryden's arm.
Yep.
And we get a cool battle.
Little sword fight.
Yeah. And then there's fight, and then she finally gets the... What does the blade get stuck in her sword?
Yes. So she falls to the ground and like thrusts the sword up, and he slashes down, and the blade goes through part of the sword and gets stuck.
I love how she's like sliding there too, and he's going over the top, and she's the second sword, and she takes it, turns around,
gets him with his own knife
in the chest. And it was glorious.
And he dies.
And then he dies.
The end.
But credits and that poker scene really didn't happen. Dice! No, but
Dice!
But yeah. And then Han and Qi'ra have a little talk. They're like, we need to get... I love how we kind of just turned into doing the plot.
Yeah.
But we're almost done, so...
It's more concise, though. Even if it's the same length as discussing the plot, I feel this has been a lot more concise.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking in this section mainly. We've just been going through the plot.
True.
But yeah, I really like that. They talk, and then Kira's like
they have a little heart to
heart, and then I don't remember anything that specifically.
Kira's like, she's like, you got to go after Chewie, and Han's like, well, what about you? And she says, well, we're gonna need money to buy a ship if you give all the coaxium away. And she looks back at some jewels behind her.
Yeah, and then he goes to get Chewie, and I don't know what happens first, but Han and Beckett have a showdown.
Yes. This isn't what happens first, but yes.
Are we talking about Darth Maul?
Yes, that happens first.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
But then Han goes after...
Chewie. Somehow gets ahead of Beckett? And Chewie? I don't know how.
But the scene is kind of like... I like this moment. It's hard for Han because, like, this isn't supposed to be his mentor.
It's someone he, like, was looking up to for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And then they have to... And then they're talking, they're like about people being predictable or whatever, like betrayment, or like how could you do this? Or like, you know what I'm gonna have to do, and then Han just fucking shoots him.
Yeah, Beckett is like, you know what I'm gonna have to do now, as he's reaching for his blaster. Before he even takes hold of his blaster, he gets shot.
They had to make sure you knew Han shot first.
In this case, Lucas can't ruin it again.
It was kind of heavy-handed, but I get it. I liked it.
But I like it because even as Beckett is falling, he's like, I was gonna kill you. Like, even as Beckett is dying.
We knew he was going to kill him. But, yeah.
But I like that. He's like, you made the right choice.
And then while this is happening, they get coaxium. What do they see? Kira's ship just goes off. The yacht flies away, right?
Yes.
And then...
After her little conversation with the big boss.
So, Qi'ra...
while Han's going after Beckett
is like, has to comport to Dryden's boss, because Dryden's dead.
She has the little ring. She takes it from Dryden's corpse and turns it into the thing, and a hologram shows up.
Like, who's this guy?
You hear a familiar voice.
Yeah.
If you've seen...
Yes, brother.
Yeah, you hear Bane.
He's like, I'm back from Felucia.
Tom Hardy.
But yeah, Darth Maul's there.
Darth Maul shows up, which for people who didn't watch the Clone Wars or Rebels are probably like, I'm sorry, what?
So what did you think of this moment initially? When you first... I remember being shocked. I'm like, what? I love the tie-in, but like it seemed a little I still really loved it.
It was spoiled for me.
Oh yeah, you did say that.
This was a big thing that got leaked and went all over the internet.
Which is interesting because this was one of the last things in the script they finalized. Like they had the script written, but they didn't know who Dryden's boss was going to be till like And not even until Ron Howard took over.
Well, I don't even know who else it would have been.
They could have made a new character, like done something, but like they didn't have like.
Well, but then I mean, like,
when they write the trip, they had literally no clue who it was going to be until the very end, and then someone thought like maybe Maul,
because Maul did have a syndicate empire that he was building.
Mm-hmm.
I know, then stuff happened. It got destroyed. He got captured. You have the Darth Maul comics, the Son of Dathomir comics, and all that. And then you have Rebels, where he doesn't have it anymore.
Is this before or after Son of Dathomir?
This is after.
Okay.
This is this is between the last moment we see of Maul and like Son of Dathomir stuff,
and then between the beginning
and then Rebels. This is in that gray area where I'm assuming he tried to pick back up his little empire, but trying to be more shadowy and being like behind it all, so he doesn't get found again.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what I can assume this is.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing that's interesting is that Crimson Dawn is slightly aligned with the Pikes, but if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure Darth Maul had control of the Pikes.
Yeah, they had a working relation. Yeah, that's probably why he didn't want to fuck it up earlier in the movie.
Because they abandoned. Oh, that is true. They did abandon him. Because he lost everything.
But yeah,
as Maul does.
Turns out Darth Maul was in charge the whole time. Nice, fun surprise.
And I do like that it's Ray Park, right? Yeah. Playing him again. Like and then it's Sam Witwer as the voice.
The only way it should be.
That is the correct way.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, I think you were the one who told me this little fun fact. They actually almost used the wrong lightsaber.
Yes, on set, they had the wrong lightsaber because obviously it's a different lightsaber towards Rebels, right?
During Rebels, right around the time of Rebels, he has like a broken Inquisitor saber.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, because Palpatine was hunting him and he killed an Inquisitor and took it. And who pointed it out?
Witwer.
That makes sense. Yeah, Witwer would know.
He's like, yeah, that he wouldn't have that lightsaber right now. So if like Witwer wasn't voicing him around part of it, like they would have just fucked that up.
They would have had the wrong hilt, which
is kind of unacceptable. Like you have a fucking story team for like a reason. Like get your canon together.
Especially because the other one that he has here and in Rebels has that big like jutting circle part on the front of it. That's pretty distinctive.
It was also a little over the top though that he like ignited the lightsaber, but I get it, I guess.
I think it's more of like a habit for him, honestly. That's how he scares people.
I guess, but you're in a hologram, bro.
No, I get it, but it's like a big... It's not meant to be like, I'll kill you right now, but it's like, pull the hilt and then ignite it to show, like, I'm powerful.
I got power. I have masculinity issues now.
Well, Maul is a whole barrel of issues.
Yeah, he's a broken man at this point.
I'm so glad, like you said, I'm not sure how entirely to feel about it until we see where Crimson Dawn goes. I mean, we know the end of Maul's journey.
See, the Maul whole... I like entering the Maul, but I'm more interested about Qi'ra and Crimson Dawn than Maul and Crimson Dawn.
No, but that is what interests me about Qi'ra and Crimson Dawn.
I want to know what happens to her with Crimson... Because obviously she's taking over Giant Spot, which I love.
But because that's the thing is like... They don't have to like try and create a new character for us to like kind of fear to be, like Qi'ra's boss, because Qi'ra's probably still conflicted, and so they could make a new character and try to shoehorn in a way to make this character like intimidating and be like, oh god, if Qi'ra gets caught, she's done. Why not just use a character that we already know is intimidating who will kill anyone who wrongs them?
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah. I think it works extremely well.
What, Maul? Or
yes.
Yeah, I think it works too.
And I am also just glad Maul has been in so much of Star Wars other than Episode 1, but for the casual moviegoer...
This is like, what?
Yeah, and I'm so glad they finally got him to be in there without having to, like, super shoehorn him in somewhere.
Mm-hmm. It's a little shoehorned, but not super
It's shoehorned. A little shoehorned, but it makes sense at least.
I like it.
Like, it's not so shoehorned that it doesn't make sense.
Yes, that's fair. And yeah, well, Qi'ra leaves.
And we know Maul is on Dathomir at this point, because he has his little shrine in Rebels there. He says, come to me on Dathomir.
He's wearing the Crimson Dawn necklace like Qi'ra had on earlier.
Yes.
And then, yeah, Han's like, everyone's out, gives the quacks, and Emphasis is like, you're a good guy. And Han's like, I'm not the good guy.
Me? I'm not a good guy.
And then him and Chewie peace out to go to Jabba to do a job, because they're implying there's a job, and obviously that's Jabba.
And Enfys Nest did give him a bit of coaxium as payment.
Payment, yeah.
Which he later goes and gambles to get the Falcon.
Get the Falcon
in that sequence we talked about earlier.
The end.
The end.
Well, I want to talk about the Qi'ra thing and Han thing, because I might have mentioned this a little earlier, but I really love her in this movie and him and her relationship with Han. I think they do that very well, considering I don't care about Han in this movie, but it does a really good job of building who Han is.
Yes.
Han's very optimistic before this, and happy and go lucky. He's optimistic, and his mentor just betrayed him, and his love of his life just broke his heart. Not love of his life, that's Leia, obviously, but his love of his childhood love, his first love,
his childhood sweetheart,
and it's just devastating for him. And I really like that. I just love Qi'ra and Han. Interesting.
It definitely helps explain why he's so off-putting and
doesn't want to be negative, commit to anything or be part of anything. And I think it works for well. So yeah, the more we talk about Solo, the more I like it. Which is funny because I was a little I don't remember when we rewatched it. I didn't remember it being it. It was a little worse than I remember. Not bad, but I didn't have as much fun with it the third time around.
That's the thing is that these are all really good ideas. I do think it can be a little slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
For a good chunk of the film, I think it is pretty slow until the train sequence is awesome, but I feel like it really starts to pick up.
Dan, stop.
What?
I forgot something. The final shot of the movie was the shot of the dice.
Dice! Woo!
There was dice. Final shot, and they had to see it 10 times. Let's do it.
There's so much peeking in this recording.
What were you saying? Before I cut you off for the dice?
I was just saying, it kind of has I think that it's paced. Not paced, but it feels pretty slow at parts.
Yeah.
Which is what makes it feel, kind of not as good multiple times.
There's not a lot of action really in this movie either.
Which is
interesting, but I think it pulled it off well, not having too much action, still made it a fun movie. Like I said, yes. I want Solo too. I want the Crimson Dawn
absolutely.
movie. I want more of these characters, Qi'ra and Lando.
I want to see Qi'ra interacting with all members of the Crimson Dawn, her being the odd one out of where she's kind of more.
It makes the one thing I really don't like think about it kind of sucks that I got all these interesting characters. The only one that's really still alive is Qi'ra.
Yeah, that is kind of a problem. It is kind of a problem because you introduce all of these really cool characters and they literally all die but Qi'ra.
Yeah.
And this isn't, it's not like Rogue One where it's kind of really, you kind of gotta kill them.
Yeah.
This one, it's you didn't have to kill all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it just felt like a waste.
Yeah.
But we'll get, obviously we have, the Beckett comics and...
Yeah, Beckett has a comic.
We have the young Lando comics with L3 in it.
Mm-hmm.
So we do
I'm sure we'll get more of this, but obviously the one standout who we want more to know more about more than anything is probably Qi'ra, right?
And the one who actually has stuff that continues past this.
Yes.
Because everything else is before.
Yeah, I know Qi'ra, they have the book Most Wanted, which is a prequel about them on Corellia.
Them as kids?
Right before Solo, her.
Oh.
That stuff on Corellia. And then they have the Han Solo book, which is before 7. I don't know if Qi'ra's in that or not.
Before 7?
Yeah, where he has Ben and Lando. It's the Lando and Han book where Han's a dad and.
Oh,
I don't think Qi'ra's anything to do with that.
I was gonna say I don't think Qi'ra has anything to do with that.
She's in a cool Forces of Destiny where her Hondo and IG-88 and they just keep trying to get the bounties on each other and try to remember that one.
Oh, I do remember
That's a little fun Qi'ra thing, but that's all we got.
That is
Qi'ra. I want more.
And that's all we got of Solo outside of a couple of little review things.
Mm-hmm. So it is time for the segment you've been waiting for. Rank the movie. We need to think of a clever name for this. We probably should have done that sooner by now, but we're 4 episodes in. Oh well. We're going to rank the movie. Dan, our current rankings. Number 3, The Phantom Menace. Number 2, Attack of the Clones. Number 1, Revenge of the Sith. Dan, this is either 1 or 2.
Well, obviously. I say this is 2.
I say this is 1. Let's discuss.
I think that this movie has really good concept.
But not executed as well.
Not executed.
I don't think Revenge of the Sith is executed great, though.
No, it's not executed well, but I also do kind of, it does really bug me that a lot of the cool characters are killed off, underused, I know Qi'ra is the standout, but it does really kind of irk me that, like I said, Val, Rio, L3, you have all these new characters and they just all die.
Yeah.
To me, that bugs me a lot. And then, of course, the pacing, I do agree. The first hour is kind of rough.
Mm-hmm.
It's not I think that hampers it for rewatching.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I think for that reason alone, we can put that in number 2 and keep Revenge of the Sith number 1. I think Revenge of the Sith is more rewatchable.
Revenge of the Sith is definitely more rewatchable.
And plus, it's more important, for the saga too, and I like that. Yeah, yes. Let's go number 1. No, number 2.
Number 2.
I try to trick you,
You almost had me really fucked up there for a second.
Yeah, so our new rankings: number 1, Revenge of the Sith; number 2, Solo, A Star Wars Story; number 3, Attack of the Clones; number 4, The Phantom Menace. What a surprise, Dan. Do you think anything is going to be below The Phantom Menace?
No.
Never.
No. If anybody thinks we're putting anything else below Phantom Menace, I said this in the last video, you're wrong already. Nothing will be below Phantom Menace other than the Clone Wars movie, which we're not reviewing.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, now it's time for the Rank the Fight segment. We have one fight. This should be easy.
The Dryden Han Qi'ra fight.
I personally really enjoyed this fight. Qi'ra kicking ass. It'll probably end up mid-tier for me. We'll have to see where it ranks.
Yes.
Okay, let's just start from the bottom.
Grievous versus Obi-Wan.
Grievous versus Obi-Wan. I think it's better than Grievous versus Obi-Wan.
Yes.
Trio versus Dooku.
Episode 2?
Episode 2. I think it's better than that.
Yes.
Annie and Obi-Wan versus Dooku. I think it's better than that. There's not much going on there.
Yes. For me personally, I don't think it'll get higher than that.
Windu versus Palp.
Personally, I don't see it being higher.
I mean, I could go either way here.
Simply,
I like I don't know, I feel like this one's more emotional, and I like that about it. Because there's more, stakes for Han and Qi'ra and Dryden.
Was there really stakes for Han?
Well, yeah, because at the beginning... Because Qi'ra betrays him at the beginning, and he doesn't know what's going on.
Well, I mean, it's not like...
It's more of an emotional...
Yeah, it's
more of an emotional fight. But also, that's a big fight for... that moment's a big moment for Anakin, too.
And my thing is that with this fight, it is a little... there are moments where it seems kind of obvious that Dryden could have really seriously hurt or killed Han. He knocks his blaster out of his hand 3 times.
I want this to be a little higher, but I can settle for it being right there. Just remember this when we're making fights another time. So, our new fight rankings. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Number 10, Grievous vs. Obi-Wan. Number 9, the Trio vs. Dooku. Number 8, Anakin and Obi-Wan vs. Dooku. Number 7, Han vs. Qi'ra vs. Dryden. Number 6, Windu vs. Palp. Number 5, Palp vs. Yoda. Number 4, the Coliseum scene. Number 3, Obi-Wan vs. Jango Fett. Number 2, Duel of the Fates. Number 1, Anakin and Obi-Wan on Mustafar. We will have a graphic for you to help, but
yes,
I like to say those out loud for the obvious reasons.
For audio listeners.
Yes. Now we are to the medals of bravery.
Yay!
Dan, how did this happen? We're smarter than this.
This is the easiest one we've ever had. Han Solo.
That's the most slam dunk.
Ka-chow!
The worst moment of this movie, and it's dumb and should never happen, and Ron Howard should never write another Star Wars. No, I'm just kidding. Whoever wrote this should never write Star Wars again.
What if it's the same person who wrote the rest of it?
It is, probably. Lawrence Kasdan and his dad, or Lawrence Kasdan and his son. John Kasdan.
That's fair. If they have a knighthood in England, it should be removed.
Mm-hmm. Now, time for the "That's So Wizard, Annie" moment of the film. Which, if you don't know, is awarded to the best scene of the movie.
Yes.
And yes. I think there's 2 contenders.
I also agree that there are 2 contenders.
And what are your 2 contenders?
The fight on Kessel and the Pit.
Mine
on
are
Mimban.
Mine are Qi'ra and L3 having conversation about love, and Qi'ra trying on capes, and Qi'ra throwing the bomb, and Qi'ra. Yeah, you notice a theme here?
I might be noticing a theme here.
Qi'ra standing in the corner. Qi'ra doing Terrace Kasi.
Sitting on the couch with Dryden.
Qi'ra sitting on the couch with Dryden. Those are all great moments.
Are these your top 10 moments of the Star Wars franchise?
No, they'd all be great moments. But, yeah, no. But it'd be great Obi and Ahsoka moments, dude, with one Qi'ra moment for fun. But, no, I agree. One of those two. Let's see here. I like the Pit scene when we meet Chewbacca, because that's a scene that is very easy to mess up too.
Yes.
And the fact that it was so fun, and the action was good, and it was still the cut from the original movie that they didn't fix. I just like all that stuff. But for me personally, I think I have to go with the train sequence, because one, range troopers. Two, stuff goes down. Like, we lose Rio and Val, even though it's probably not earned, but their stakes and it impacts the rest of the movie. I just love range troopers. I love the train sequence. Love seeing Emphasis for the first time. Her and Becca have a little cool fight on top of the train. I just think that sequence is more fun.
I accidentally said
more times watching it.
I accidentally said Kessel. I meant Vandor. When I was naming the two moments, I accidentally said Kessel. I meant Vandor.
Oh, the train sequence?
Yes.
Okay.
I was agreeing Train and Pit are the two choices.
Kessel will probably be third.
Kessel would be third. Just so people don't get confused, being like, what? He said Kessel. Why did he start going on about Vandor?
God, we prepped this. Why did you fuck it up?
It's a slip of the tongue.
I'm going to find a new co-host for next week.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Good luck there.
Yeah, I know, right? What do you think? Give me your thoughts.
I think... So here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I agree.
Yes.
With the train sequence. I will provide an argument still for the Pit scene.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly just for fun, because I do agree probably the train sequence is what it's going to end up being. But I do think that
You can't go wrong with either of these two.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. I do think that the Pit scene is... Obviously, it's more important for, the franchise as a whole.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, because it is something that can be messed up so easily, and could have been the how did this happen? We're smarter than this moment.
Yeah.
In another reality.
In another world.
And then, of course, I just love all the bits here. I love Han biting Chewie. Han speaking Wookiee.
That's a fun time.
It's a real fun time. But pound for pound, I would say the better scene to watch is the train sequence.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best scene of the movie. It's one of the reasons to go back and watch them. Well, they both are, but I just think that one's more.
That one is a more of a reason to go back and watch it as an individual movie, not so much that it's a super important moment.
Yeah. Well, it makes the movie fun.
Yes, it is a fun sequence that is handled quite well, even if, like you said, the deaths aren't really super earned.
Yeah.
But I anytime I see Enfys Nest fight, I just get oh.
I love it so much. So the That's So Wizard moment goes to the train sequence on Vandor.
Woo! Vandor!
Yay! Now this is the time for the chosen one, the MVP, the star, the one who steals the show. And this is the hardest one we ever had.
There really is
There's really not
There's no one
There's no one that stands out above and beyond.
Everyone was
everyone's good.
Good. No one.
Few people are great, but no one's 10 out of 10. Not just the right amount of water.
Yes. I think if L3 was in this movie longer, she would have had a slam dunk here.
Mm-hmm. Here are our contenders. L3, Tobias Beckett, Lando Calrissian, Qi'ra, last name unknown.
I was like, are you bringing a surprise fifth one?
No. Pop Rio for saying Wookiee, and does she have sharp teeth? No, but those four. Let's try to narrow this down. You know where my heart is here. My heart's firmly with Qi'ra for many reasons. Emilia Clarke, I think her character was the most interesting and new character, and like I think she has most to be explored. I think her relationship with Han is fascinating. I think her what she does, I don't know, I just love what she means for Han and how they develop that and their relationship, and I think it works well for the movie. And I also think her and Han are Rey's mom.
They're both Rey's mom?
Yep.
Oh.
Her and Han are Rey's parents.
No, they're Rey's mom, both of them.
Yep. You can have two moms.
Okay.
There's a TV show called My Two Dads. You can have two moms.
I have a friend who has two moms. Let's narrow it down a little bit first.
Let's talk about each one first, though.
Oh, okay.
I guess I agree with you. L3, one of my favorite droids, one of my favorite characters in the movie, but I don't think she has enough time to earn this role, so we're just going to cut her now.
Yes, she does not have enough time, but I think if she was in the movie longer, I think it would be a very easy choice.
Maybe. Qi'ra's up there. Beckett and Lando. Actually, I think we should cut Lando, too.
Yes.
Lando's good. I love Childish Gambino playing him, Donald Glover the man. But just he gets fucked in this movie a lot, and he's fun. He portrays him well. It's fun. But I don't think he's the MVP. He has a moment where he has a cool jacket and he just looks awesome. But multiple moments like that. But the one outside.
Anytime he's on screen, baby.
Yeah.
This new sexy jacket. But yeah, I agree. The only two that I think it
has to be Beckett or Qi'ra.
Yes.
Because this movie's called Solo. And their relationship with the Han are the things that define him. And I think they do a good job with that.
Yes.
So, pitch me Tobias Beckett.
So, Beckett is, I'm a big fan of... Because Beckett is a lot like Han in Episode 4, A New Hope. I like that he's the grizzled, he's the scoundrel. He's like a hyperbolic version of Han, where he's, flailing his guns around and, he has all the right plan on top of his head and he can bullshit his way through everything. And while being actually pretty intelligent and being, a good leader. And I like that Han immediately looks up to him from the first time he sees him fight. Mm-hmm. And then he just keeps following him, as they're going through the trench. He's like, my name's Han. I was originally in the Navy. I was flying around. He's so happy. Yeah. It's like meeting his hero, a guy he's never met before. And as they go along, Beckett is kind of impressed with Han after a while, that he gets out of the pit and he hires him for the job. And they start to get along a bit during the Vandor heist. Han doesn't mess anything up until the very end. Up until he drops the payload.
It's not Han's fault, though.
Yeah, it's not Han's fault, but I mean, Han didn't step out of line at all.
Yeah.
So you can tell
you saw me on Han, you saw me on Beckett.
But what I mean is that you can tell right from the beginning that this is someone Han respects a lot. Mm-hmm. Instantly, because he doesn't really act this way with many other people. And so it makes it all the more, really crushing for Han as a character when Beckett sells him out.
Yeah.
And he learns that lesson the hard way. Assume everyone will betray you. He learns it, and then the guy who told him that goes and proves it.
Yeah. I love how it comes down to the two people who have broken Han's heart.
Yes.
And fucked him the most.
Because, they provide the development for Han.
Who do you think broke his heart worse? Han or Beckett or Qi'ra?
Qi'ra easily broke his heart more.
Yeah.
I think Beckett might have fucked his mind a bit more.
Mm-hmm. This is a tough one. I want to pitch a little more Qi'ra, just because.
Okay.
That's where my heart is.
Yes.
I like where Han's heart was with Qi'ra.
Yes.
I also like I said, her action sequences are really good in this thing too. Her fight with Dryden's really good. I like her doing Teräs Käsi in the thing. Just her capes. She has capes. She's fun. I don't know if you guys know this about me yet, but I like the weird things people do that aren't majorly plot important, reasons I like people and stuff. Have you noticed that, Dan? No?
I can't say that I ever have.
I'm not really good explaining why I think she could be it, but I just think she's very the most interesting character in this movie, and I want to know more about her. I don't really need to know more about Beckett. And I think that's a good sign of a movie you want to know more about them. It's not fair to say about Beckett because he died. We really can't know more about him. But also, I care more about Qi'ra's past than his past, and I care more about her future than Beckett's future.
Because Beckett doesn't have a future.
Yeah, Beckett doesn't have a future, baby. But I also understand why she did it too. Like, I don't think she did as much to break Han's heart, but as to like protect him from
keep him from Crimson Dawn.
Because, like, as we know, Han in Episode 4 does not know of the Sith or believes that the Force is real. If he was in there, she'd know that stuff. She's just trying to protect him, his little boy. Keep him a little safe.
That is also one thing that I find kind of entertaining. This is a guy who says he's seen nothing that proves the existence of the all-powerful Force. He was literally like 5 minutes away from seeing Darth Maul.
Yeah, it's a little fun. Like, I've caught your moment. So, Dan, how are we going to decide this? Because I will fight for Qi'ra.
You know, you had me at Teräs Käsi.
Teräs Käsi? Because they're both pretty even, but the meme gets you. Let's do it.
They're both very even, and I'm willing to let you have one for your girl.
And I was going to fight for her. Hard.
Yeah. Like, maybe if I was like, maybe if there's anybody that I was like
super passionate about, being more of a discussion, but yeah.
But we both agree the two standouts are Beckett and Qi'ra.
And L3, but she's not long enough to get this award. Yes. And Lando. Gotta shout out Lando.
Gotta shout out Lando.
So, yeah. The chosen one is Qi'ra.
What a surprise.
How do you think the fans will feel about that?
I think anybody who has watched this podcast all the way through knew who you were going to pitch from the beginning.
Yes. Who knows me and knows the podcast by now.
I just mean in general, if you watch this episode,
yes.
You talk about Qi'ra a lot.
And also, though, I couldn't go into tiebreaker with you because I'd lose the tiebreaker.
Yes.
Our tiebreaker would probably not pick Qi'ra.
Probably not.
Well, I had a fun time today, Dan.
Yeah.
I honestly think this is one of our best podcasts we've ever done.
But I like the more casual feel of going through it by segment rather than worrying about every little detail.
I think we might have found a formula that makes it more conversational, too. I like it.
Yes.
Honestly, this is my favorite podcast other than episode 2. And our secret podcast that we do. So...
if you keep bringing it up, it won't be a secret anymore.
I'll stop talking about it after today. I'll talk about it 3 episodes in a row.
Yeah.
But for Dan, our Sith Holocron, you have anything to say before we go?
Yeah!
But I hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, share with your friends.
Follow Twitter. We have an Instagram. We don't use it. Find it if you want. Just watch, like, subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. The dice are important! Dice!